The following is a presentation of the FC Dallas Radio Network.
Patrickson will take it from the opposite side, in swinging service, whipped in, more air underneath this one towards the back post. Uragide scores! Osaze Uragide in the big moment gives Dallas the lead. As things stand, they're in the playoffs, and what a moment.
After last week's unexpected one-all draw against St. Louis City, FC Dallas remains undefeated at home in the 2016 campaign. If the Burn wants that to continue, they'll have to tangle with longtime Western Conference foe LA Galaxy this evening. The Galaxy have been uneven in MLS play and are coming off a 3-0 loss to Mexican giant Toluca in CONCACAF Champions Cup midweek. Dallas looks to stay out of the loss column at Toyota Stadium as they face the LA Galaxy tonight. On the lines of the FC Dallas Radio Network, it is the FC Dallas pregame show presented by your local Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. I'm your host, Sam Hale. On tonight's presentation, we'll have the sounds of tonight's match. Your broadcast team for the evening, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis, will join me to break down the important lineups, tactics, storylines for tonight's home matchup against the Galacticos. But first, we welcome into the shows we do for every home match, the FC Dallas Insider. You can find his fine work on FCDallas.com. He's one-third of the FC Dallas agenda, and of course, he was on the build-up just yesterday. Available everywhere free podcasts are available. Is the great Garrett Meltzer. Garrett, happy Star Wars night, and I'm going to tell you, I don't actually know much about Star Wars, so is there some – I've never seen it. You've
never seen Star Wars,
Not
Sam.
a single
That surprises
Star,
me.
Not a single Star – I played one of the Star Wars video games, and that was pretty fun.
Close enough.
But I have never seen any of the movies. Do you have a recommendation of where I should start?
Oof.
I'm not saying I'm going to do it. But
yeah, I would go in chronological order in terms of the way they came out. So start with the ones that came out in the 70s and then go from there.
Okay, fair enough. I will take that under advisement, even though there's no guarantee I will do it. But one thing I will do is watch FC Dallas soccer way more than I probably should. And we all did a little bit of that last week when FC Dallas was at home for the first of three against and they started with St. Louis. Didn't go super great, but they still got a point, and a point is a point. Now that we've had about a week for everyone, coaches, players, and even media like us to reflect on it, what do you think the big takeaway is from that one-all draw against St. Louis?
I think FC Dallas learned a lot about what not to do, to be honest. It was definitely not the team's best performance, not their best showing so far this season. It was just a sloppy game in a lot of ways. I think tactically maybe some things could be tweaked, but I think more so the players just didn't really do and go out and do what they wanted to do in a lot of ways. They were just misplacing passes, making the wrong decisions at the wrong time, and I'm sure Eric Quill took a lot of lessons from that, knowing, hey guys, we can't let that happen again, especially at home, and I think we're going to see a very different FC Dallas team tonight.
Well, I certainly hope so, and the team that we will see tonight, at least to get things started, Michael Collodi in net, Shaq Morrow, Sazi Uragide, Sebastian Ibiaga in the back three, Dietzen, Kaike, Christian Kappas, and Herman Johansson in that midfield area, Joaquin Valiente playing alongside the perfect Parrington of Petter Musa and Logan Farrington. And so a few changes for Eric Quill tonight coming off that draw. Let's start back to front here. Shaq Moore stays in the lineup but goes to right center back. At least that's what we presume. That means Nolan Norris comes out. And we've seen the LA lineup for tonight. And based on what we now know, I don't think that's an indictment of Nolan Norris. I think that is Eric Quill being very concerned about Joseph Paintsel and Gabriel Peck, who both start for LA tonight.
Exactly. It's those two players. They're both very speedy wingers, especially Joseph Paintsel, one of the fastest players in the league. He can hurt you when there's space in behind, so you want to have players with recovery pace in the back line, and that's not Nolan Norris' strength, as we know. He plays the game with his brain and with his feet. Running backwards at speed is not his strength, so he's out of the lineup. Makes a lot of sense. And get Shaq Moore back there, right? He's a fast player. He's looked really, really good at center back this year. He can also play right wing back. This time, to me, with those lineups, with Joseph Paintsel in the back, it makes a lot of sense to have him back there to make sure that if Paintsel gets space, he's got Shaq Moore there to cover him.
And you've also got Dietzen on the left-hand side of wing back. We know he's got just burner speed to go. But Herman Johansson is back. He's playing right wing back. He missed a little bit of time after the Sweden international break due to just all the buildup from that. He did play some last week as he worked his way back in. And it feels like we've seen quite a bit from Herman, but we're just missing that final end product. What do you think is the one last thing we're missing from the Swede to take him from, hey, we like this guy, to, oh, he's really the high quality we expect?
I think it's just time on the field. We know Herman Johansson's quality. He showed it in Europe and Sweden specifically over the last couple of months. This time, when he came to FC Dallas, he kind of missed a lot of preseason. There were some visa issues. He's had a few little injuries that kept him out of the team so far. So we haven't seen him get a real run of games and let him get comfortable with the league and with the pace of play. So I think it's going to take a little bit of time for him to get up to speed with that. Now that he's back healthy, I think we're going to see the best of him tonight. And we know he's going to be better in the attacking half of the field, so Dallas can look for those long switches of play, get him out in space, and he's going to cross the ball. Petter Musa, Logan Farrington are going to look to be on the end of it.
Meanwhile, the interior of that midfield, no Ramiro tonight. We talked a little bit about it on the build-up yesterday, which is available wherever great podcasts are found. Not expected to be a long-term thing, just not going to be available tonight. Could be available as soon as Wednesday if things heal up right. But did Christian Kappas and Ka'ike re-enter the lineup? And, this may be something for the agenda in a couple weeks or so. I really might think that might be Dallas's best two-screener combo that they have available to them right now.
Yeah, it's possible. I do think Christian Kappas and Ka'ike really complement each other in terms of their skill sets. Ka'ike is going to run everywhere. He's going to recover the ball. He's going to get up and down the field. His best strength is just running around and winning the ball back. Whereas Christian Kappas, he's going to kind of stay in there and be the option, receive the ball off the back four and look to progress it. Very good at dictating the tempo of the game. So they're both going to complement each other well. But I do think Ramiro is a big miss. Unfortunately, got a bad cut on his knee, so he's going to be out for this one. Might be back for Wednesday, like you said. But, he's the captain of this team for a reason. He speaks every language under the sun, and he really directs traffic when he's in there. So I do worry a little bit about the communication in that midfield specifically because he's so important to that aspect. So someone's got to step up in that midfield, and I think it's probably going to be Christian Kappas. He's Eric Quill's guy. He brought him up through the youth ranks. He brought him here to the club, and he looked really, really good last season. Probably hasn't been at his best so far this season, but we know his quality. Tonight's a really big chance for him to get back to his best.
And for those curious, that means Shaq Moore, the vice captain, will wear the armband tonight for the Burn with Ramiro out. Well, no surprise at all. Petter Musa, Logan Farrington getting the start tonight for FC Dallas. They are the top scoring duo in MLS. Petter Musa in contention for the Golden Boot. But they get a new running mate tonight after 2 straight games of Patrickson Delgado. Joaquin Valiente gets the start behind them tonight. And I think that's honestly an earned place because we saw Joaquin Valiente come in that triple sub in the draw against St. Louis. And especially for a Quill team that wants to press really highly and really early, he is the number 10 you want to achieve that goal.
I think he's the best presser in the team. He absolutely runs everywhere. Joaquin Valiente, he could be a marathon runner. I get tired just watching him out there.
It's fun.
It's so impressive. But I also think he's really good at just knitting things together. He's probably not going to be the protagonist number 10 who gets the ball, beats 3 guys, and hits that line-breaking pass. But he just kind of knits things together and makes everybody around him play better. I think that's what he's in here to do tonight, and he's probably going to do a lot of running, like I said.
And he's starting to pull a couple of assists. He had that really nice cross into Petter Musa off the head. He's starting to figure out the league, but the effort and the running has never been in doubt.
So important.
It really is, especially with what Quill wants to do just in general. Well, in come the LA Galaxy tonight, a long-time foe. They've been, in the Western Conference pretty much as long as FC Dallas has, but they're coming into this one just a little bit hobbled. They played Toluca midweek, lost 3-0. They went to Austin last Saturday, drew. Then they lost in Toluca as well. Now, granted, that one wasn't nearly as bad as it could have been, but that's a lot of flight. We're seeing a very strong lineup in general tonight for Greg Vanny's squad, and I'm just kind of looking at the results and the fixture list and going, they got to get tired at some point, don't they?
You would think they've done a lot of traveling. They got a lot of minutes in their legs, but also it's very early in the season. These players are super fit. They can play a game every 3 or 4 days and be just fine. But the travel, I think, is what might get them. I mean, flying down to Mexico, coming back, going to Austin, back to LA, back to Dallas. It's a lot of travel, and we'll have to see if that catches up with them. I think Dallas has an opportunity to go out really strong, really fast, and press them high and just kind of chew their legs a bit and then try to attack from there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to try to pull a couple early goals through that press and then maybe shut it down while they're getting really tired, even though it is a beautiful night here at Toyota Stadium for Star Wars night. Well, that is Garrett Meltzer. He is our Jedi. I don't know. I'm not even going to bother here. He's the FC Dallas Insider. You can find his work at FCDallas.com. Find him on all the various social media feeds at Garrett Meltzer. You'll hear him and Steve Davis on our halftime coverage tonight, where I will try to make less Star Wars puns. Garrett, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Sam.
When we return here on the FC Dallas pregame show, we'll bring you the sounds of tonight's match. You're listening to FC Dallas Soccer presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
You push your body hard in the name of fitness. Sure, it's for a good cause. But a good cause shouldn't mean sacrificing a good time. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
At Toyota, we don't just build trucks. We build something that's meant to last. That's why the 2026 Tundra is built to tough it out and to take it easy. Built to carry tradition and to make new ones. Built stronger, built louder, built here. The 2026 Toyota Tundra. Built in Texas, driven everywhere. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, Let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
Want to hear something incredible? That's Eleanor. Just 10 hours after being born, Eleanor was airlifted to Children's Health and met by our expert team trained in cardiac and critical care. At 4 days old, she received a stent to help her heart pump blood to the rest of her body. And today, she's a happy, healthy 1-year-old. That's incredible. That's Children's Health. Incredible together.
When you don't compromise on the court, you shouldn't compromise off of it either. Lose the calories, not the taste. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri. Copyright 2024.
Winner, winner, Chick-fil-A dinner. All season long, when FC Dallas wins at home, fans win free Chick-fil-A. Be sure your Chick-fil-A app is up to date. Location services are turned on when you attend matches at Toyota Stadium. After the team wins, before you leave your seats, open the app to redeem the Chick-fil-A offer. Welcome back to the FC Dallas pregame shows. We're getting ready for FC Dallas versus the LA Galaxy tonight, here presented by Toyota. In our next segment, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis will join me to break down tonight's starting lineup, tactics, all the important storylines for tonight's Western Conference matchup. But first, let me tell you a little bit about the FC Dallas Radio Network podcast feed, available everywhere you get free podcasts. Of course, we've got the post-game show, which goes live after every broadcast. Highlight, stats, analysis of the game that was in 30 minutes or less. It's the best way to consume the game that was in the world of FC Dallas. Of course, we do it live here on the radio network, and it goes up on the podcast feed shortly after, so it's ready for your Sunday commute, your Monday commute. Whenever you're ready to hear the post-game show, it's available to you there. And, of course, we're on Season 2 of the FC Dallas Agenda right now. We just crossed the 50-episode mark a couple weeks ago. This past week, we had Deedson on. Deedson, who just scored his first MLS goal in last week's draw. But, of course, we've had all the big newsmakers on. We've had Andre Zanata, we've had Eric Quill, Petter Musa, Logan Farrington. Anyone who's anyone has been on the FC Dallas Agenda. And if they haven't been on yet, that doesn't mean they're not anyone. It just means we're really popular, and we'll get to them. That releases almost every Wednesday on a normal match week. Of course, we've got a midweek match coming up against Minnesota this week, so that will probably shift a little bit in time. And this year, we've just started dropping the Build-Up, our brand new preview show that goes live just over 24 hours before the match kicks off. It'll be some combination of myself, Ryan, Steve, and Garrett, giving you the updates from training on Friday, the injury list, what we could expect, some quotes from the media that week, and then a little bit of prediction work just to get you a little bit more ready for the game that is and the game that will be. And of course, how do you get all this great content? Well, I'll tell you. Go to your podcast provider of choice, type in FC Dallas Radio Network. It can be on Apple, it can be on Spotify, anywhere you get free podcasts, and then hit subscribe so you don't miss any of our great content. Now let's go ahead and get you the sounds of tonight's match, which this evening are from midfielder Ron Benjamin.
As you said, we was really frustrated about that draw. We want to win every game in our home, of course, with our fans. They push us very well, and I think they deserve this game to be win. And we're coming really, really motivated. We want to climb up the table, collect these points, and we're going to face really tough opponent with some good quality players at the front half, a lot of physical players also, and it's going to be a tough game, but we want to win this game. So we have a really big squad. I think this is a very good opportunity for some other players to get some minutes, to show what they can give to the team. And I think we have a very healthy squad this season. I feel like also the players who play less, they're training really well, and they wait for the opportunity to come. And I think this is very good time to show that the squad is really good. And I hope we make a good week, because this is a very important week for us. It's been not easy for me, the start, but I see the process. The staff is talking with me a lot about the process, how I started, and I see myself growing up and becoming better and more confident, and I can't wait to get my opportunity, maybe start a game and show what I can give to the club. And until then, I keep working out, trying to improve the things I need to improve. It's not easy. Of course, it's very different leagues, and very quality players, so I'm starting to adapt really well, and I hope it will happen soon.
When we return here on the FC Dallas pregame show, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis join me to break down tonight's matchup. This is FC Dallas Soccer, presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
It's a moment when I show up, God, I'm saying wow.
Welcome to the world of WinStar, the casino of FC Dallas, where 10,000 electronic games, plus roulette, craps, and blackjack is just the beginning. Get lost in our 2-story luxury spa, rest in one of our vast hotel towers, and catch the biggest names in music and comedy at the spectacular Lucas Oil Live, all just 1 hour north of DFW. So come live in the wow at the world of WinStar.
God, I'm saying wow.
This is Logan Farrington, striker for FC Dallas. Behind every goal, there's a team you don't always see. The ones keeping everything running, secure, connected, ready. That's General Informatics. From cybersecurity to smarter IT solutions, General Informatics powers FC Dallas with advanced technology support so we can stay focused on the game. General Informatics. Complex IT made simple.
Welcome back to the FC Dallas pregame show presented by Toyota. We've got about 20 minutes or so to kick off here from Toyota Stadium. So let's go ahead and bring you tonight's starting lineups, and those this evening are brought to you by Advocare. We'll start first with the visiting LA Galaxy and 6th-year manager Greg Vanney. It's JT Marcinkowski in net tonight for the Galaxy, Maya Yoshida, Justin Hack, and Emiro Garces on the back line. John Nelson, Lucas Sanabria, Edwin Cerrillo, the former FC Dallas man, and Horacio Cuevas in the midfield. Joseph Paintsill and Gabriel Peck, the Killer Peas, play alongside João Klaus, who has 5 goals for the Galacticos this year in his first season out west. Now let's go ahead and get you the starting lineup for FC Dallas and 2nd-year manager Eric Quill.
Michael Colodi, goalkeeper, Frisco, Texas.
Shaq Moore, right back, Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Osaze Origide, center back, Netherlands, Nijmegen.
Sebastian Ibiaga, center back, Duke University.
Herman Johansson, wing back, Sweden.
Christian Capes, midfielder, Houston, Texas.
Kaique, midfield, Brazil.
Sandritson Lucius, winger, from Port-au-Prince, Haiti.
Joaquín Valiente, mediocampista, Uruguay.
Logan Farrington, striker, Racine, Wisconsin.
Petar Musa, forward, from Zagreb, Croatia.
And the reserves tonight for Dallas: Jonathan Sirwa, Lala Sabubakar, Ron Benjamin, Patrickson Delgado, Santi Moreno, Nick Simmons, Caleb Swan, Sam Sarver, and Nolan Norris. And now let's bring in our commentary team for the evening. It's Ryan Figert, it's Steve Davis. And Ryan, first off, welcome back after missing out on last week. You picked a very good game to miss last week live at the very least. But I did know you watched it, and there's kind of 2 schools of thought here, so I'm curious where you fall on how they analyzed last week's game. Garrett is one on the form of, hey, Dallas, it wasn't so much about mentality, it was more about just lack of execution, bad passing, and just an off night. But you'll see others that look and go, man, Dallas just looked like a completely different team effort-wise. They looked slow to target. They didn't look like they pressed well. I think that's more of Eric Quill's general thoughts. Now that you've had kind of a week to soak this in and think about it a little bit, where do you fall on this? Is it one or the other, or is there a little bit of both?
There's definitely a little bit of both. I think I would lean more towards Garrett's opinion because I think really the lineup that was picked didn't have the legs to go and be the front-footed pressing team that Eric Quill wanted to be on the night. Patrickson Delgado, not really his game compared to someone like Valiente. Kaique not being in the team obviously takes a lot of energy out of that midfield. So I think there was, and obviously they're trying to integrate Dietzen now with Bernard Kamunga going out with an injury at the left wing back spot. So I think there was a lot of factors, and a lot of that was ultimately personnel. I wouldn't fault the effort necessarily, but as we saw when the subs came in the second half, the game changed, and some of those subs are starting tonight for that reason.
And one of the things, Steve, we can definitively say regardless of that, home points and specifically early points for this team this year matter because you've got the World Cup break coming up at the end of May. You've got a very long road trip due to stadium construction happening. And I hope that we're not looking back in October at that game last week and saying, hey, we really wish we could have gotten two more points out of that game. But that just stresses how important these early home games are.
Yeah, for sure. First of all, hello, Sam. Good to be back with you. Look, we know the first 7 of 9 games this year are in Frisco. We know how important it is to stack the points. It was disappointing that they didn't get 3 against the 13th place team last week that I think is actually better than 13th best in the West. But look, I also think there's something to be said for you are unbeaten at home. And depending on how you count a sort of a draw and then a penalty kick loss last year in the playoffs against Vancouver, they haven't been beaten at home in a long time, So I think there's something to that. I think there's something to on what was one of their worst 60-minute performances under Eric Quill. They came back and got a point. So, starting to look at the other side of that coin after sort of being disappointed about it last week.
Yeah, undefeated in their last 10 in MLS season MLS regular season play is FC Dallas. So definitely they're defending Fortress Frisco a lot better than they were, let's say, in 2024 and even early 2025. Well, let's look at tonight because we're about to get very acquainted with Fortress Frisco over the next few days because we've got a game tonight, Ryan, and then, oh, by the way, we've got Dollar Hot Dog Night in a couple days as Minnesota flies in for the final finale of a 3-game series here at Toyota Stadium. And then you've got the Seattle game, a late-night MLS After Dark broadcast coming up for us. But this is the first of 3 and 8, and this is where Eric Quill, although he's fielded a very strong lineup tonight, is probably going to have to start doing the mental math of, hey, I got 3 games. How do I substitute? How do I play? What do I do? That's what coaches earn their salaries on in this league.
Yeah, and I think you look at each line, you have a player that's not starting tonight that you're very comfortable with being a starter. And I'm considering Ramiro in that conversation because we don't expect him to be out long. But you've got Nolan Norris not starting tonight. He's a candidate to start on Wednesday. You've got Ramiro. As soon as he's ready to go, he'll be back in potentially with a place to start. Santi Moreno is on the bench, and he's pushing his fitness more and more towards being able to start. So you've got 15, 16 guys that he's comfortable with playing with from the start over the next 8 days, as you say, with the 3 games. So I think the depth is really going to come through during this period. And even as they've lost now a couple guys to longer-term injuries with Kamungo and Julio, it's just opportunities for others to step up.
And, Steve, let's talk about Nolan Norris a little bit because he is not in the 20, as Ryan mentioned, and we've already detailed. It's Shaq Moore in that right wing back spot, or right center back spot, we presume, with Osaze and Sebastian Biaga next to him. And as Garrett and I talked about that first segment, that's not Nolan Norris lost his job. It's Eric Quill is seeing Joseph Paintsel on one side, Gabriel Peck on the other, and saying, I need to get a different profile in there, and specifically, I need Shaq Moore in that group.
Yeah, look, for sure. I mean, there's going to be some rotation, A, because the result wasn't great last week, and B, because it's the first double match week, double match day, whatever we want to say, that's Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday.
We'll figure something out.
Yeah. So yeah, and I actually thought Nolan Norris was maybe one of the better players last week.
I would agree.
So I don't think that anybody is taking it like that, and I do believe that you're correct. I think that LA Galaxy, although they haven't done well over the last couple of years, they've got quality up front, man. I mean, Paintsel starting tonight. Now he's only gone 23 minutes over the last couple of months, so I don't know how much he can really give them tonight. How tight and right he's going to be. But Peck is coming off 2 years ago, 27 goal contributions. He is a heck of a winger in this league, and you do need some experience, and I think that does have something to do with Shaq being over there.
And, Ryan, this is kind of the good side, bad side of Eric Quill really does have 4 center backs that he could trust on any given game, but the way the formation writes out every game, he can only start 3 of them. It's a nice problem to have.
I was going to say, I don't really see a downside to that. I think, individually guys will be disappointed when it's their turn to step out of the lineup, but outside of Uragide, I think we're going to see the other 3 rotating in and out of the team over the course of the season, particularly in these moments where there's fixture congestion. It'll be interesting to see, though, Nolan doing really well over his recent starts, giving the team the ability to pass out of the back on the left side. Losing that, how does that affect the way that Dallas not defends, but has the ball, possesses the ball, builds up from the back? Do they have to go more towards, whether it's Ibiaga or Shaq Moore on the right side, do they have to force it that way, and can the Galaxy counter that?
Yeah, and also, Dietzen, we think is going to play on the left side. I'm not sure that he's the best at the build-out either, so I do see a very possession, right-sided heavy game today.
And to that end, you led me right where I wanted to go, Steve. Obviously, we expect Dietzen on the left today. We expect that Herman Johansson would take up his traditional right side. With all that speed on the outside, because it's not just Peyton Pexel, you've got those two wingbacks that are going to probably push up a little bit for LA Galaxy. Who do you think out of Dietzen or Johansson is going to be the one that really needs to up their game tonight to counter all that width from the Galaxy?
Yeah, so I think there's two different answers there. I think because you expect different things out of those guys. I think Herman Johansson has shown me that he's pretty safe in possession. He understands the game at a high level, so he knows how to move those extra 2 yards here, left, right, forward, backward, to receive the ball, create a little space for himself that way, just by thinking through the game. He hits a really good cross from that side, whereas Dietzen, I think, on the other side, they're going to depend on him to be solid defensively and then to get in behind with his speed, a little bit like he did last week to get the goal against St. Louis. So I think they're asking different things out of those two wingbacks.
And I think, Ryan, it's also fair, this may be more important in a broad sense for Dietzen because we don't really know how long Bernie is going to be out at this point. We know it's going to be multiple matches, but that job was probably the least secure job of the 11 out there for Dallas. If Dietzen can take this opportunity while Bernie is out and turn in 3 or 4 good form matches, there's a chance he could win that job, especially coming out of the World Cup break.
Yeah, at the very least, he needs to prove that he can be a dependable player there, right? Because, when Camoon goes back, whether it's before or after the World Cup break, there was nobody behind him that we felt confident stepping into his place when he needed to, take a game off or when he picked up an injury. So, at the very least, building out the depth at that left wing back spot. But, it can be that Bernie's the depth if Dietzen really takes this opportunity with both hands.
And, as we kind of look a little bit forward here, another change for Dallas. I think this was probably more about performance. Steve, was Patrick Delgado coming out, Joaquin Valiente coming in. We spent a decent amount of time on the postgame show last week talking about when Valiente came in as a part of that big triple change, how much his presence changed the game, how much his intent and his tone gave Dallas a little bit more of a threat. Well, he gets to start again tonight behind Peter Musa and Logan Farrington. And that, to me, tells me at minimum one thing about what Dallas wants to do tonight. And that's going to be press and press early.
Yeah, I think Joaquin Valiente is showing us something because as a 10, as a creator, you think about the guy who can, pick locks with inventiveness and creativity. And I think he's showing us that even if you're not necessarily the guy that can, create magic that way, you can be a creative force just by being very technically sound and being able to see pass, make pass. That's a lot of it. See the lane, make the pass, and be technical enough to do it. He hasn't played that much. He's the team leader in assists with 3, right? So that says a lot. And to your point, yes, he's very good at pressing. So last week the game completely changed when Johansson, Valiente, and Santi Marino came in. And every time I see Valiente play, I see something else to like about his game.
I do too, and Ryan, this is also, I think, a big game for Logan Farrington because last week was not his best showing. I mean, plenty of players can say that, but the problem for Logan is Santi Moreno is right back there, and he's starting to build fitness. And every time we've seen Santi come in, he's looked quite the part. I think if Logan wanted to break out one of his signature games, tonight might be a good night to do it, especially with some rotation on the forefront coming.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be rotation, right? I think it would be irresponsible not to rotate those guys with 3 games in 8 days, but for Logan to continue to be, in Eric Cole's mind, the starting second forward off of Peter Musa, he does have to turn in a good performance today because he looked very uncharacteristically sloppy. He looked like he couldn't connect with his teammates. Even leading the press, I don't think he was effective in that regard either, and he's usually pretty good at that, at least the off-the-ball work rate. And winning fouls, none of those things that we've come to associate with Logan's game, he showed against St. Louis. Can he bounce back? He hasn't often been given the opportunity to. I think in his young career, when he's put up an off night or a bad performance, he's usually out of the team, and he's coming off the bench for the next few games. So he's got an opportunity to respond, and as you said, Santi Moreno breathing down his neck, looking for that starting spot. I like Logan in these moments. I like his character. I think he has the ability to respond to a bad performance. I think he might be on the score sheet tonight.
And, Steve, I love the fact that we talked about this a little bit when Moreno came in, that Dallas has players that can push each other like that. You think about last year, it was really Peter Musa and, Logan had a decent season, but there was really nobody behind those guys. Now this year you've got Valiente pushing guys like Delgado. You've got Moreno pushing guys like Logan. You've got some real competitive depth across the board here for Dallas.
And it helps because, again, last week we saw it. The game changed in a big way when they had the subs come in. And honestly, I think for a number of different reasons, Dallas is in a good position tonight. I feel good about tonight. One of the reasons is because I expect a bounce back from a guy like Logan Farrington. Whether he has competition behind him or not, as you said, yeah, it helps. But I just think he knows, the team knows, everybody knows it wasn't good enough last week. I expect him to have the mentality right tonight and have a good game.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the Galaxy here as we wait for the players to take the pitch. And Ryan, a little good news, bad news situation for Dallas. The bad news is João Klaus did not get rotated out. He is their leading scorer, 5 goals in 7 starts so far this year. The good news is Marco Royce is not starting tonight. He's their leading assist man. He's also got 2 goals and 3 assists in 7 matches. Now, that comes with its own problems because Joseph Paintsel, Gabriel Peck are both out there. This is going to be a challenging front 3 for FC Dallas, one of the biggest they faced.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the way that this front 3 is now constructed with João Klaus coming in from St. Louis in the offseason is he is the finisher, and everything is funneled in towards him, and I think he can be a really functional player in this system. He's got 30 goals in his MLS career, just short of 90 games, but a lot of that was in a really, really bad St. Louis team, particularly going forward. They didn't create chances for him. Nothing to the level of Peck and Paintsel. If they can be dangerous down the outside, they're funneling the chances in, cutback balls, whipped in balls to the back post. He's good in the air. He's physical. He's going to be in for a good battle with Osaze tonight in the middle of the field.
I tell you what, though, they've always had. Hey, last year they had good attacking players. Just the team's not good. I don't know. It's a weird situation where, you know, if you listen to people in Los Angeles right now, they think Greg Vandy might, you know, soon lose his job. I mean, here's a guy who, in 6 years, you know, they've got an MLS Cup, but also for the year, they're steaming towards not being in the playoffs for a 4th year out of his 6-year term. You know, I don't see the bigger strategic view there. They've got a lot of weak spots on the roster, but they've always had that good forward line. They just don't win. I mean, they got 1 MLS win since February. You know?
It's worth saying that I think they were counting on Ricky Puig back this season, and they built sort of everything around that. And then once he tore his ACL for a 2nd straight offseason, then they made that move for Klaus, brought him in as a designated player. So it felt like they had a plan, and then as soon as one of the best players in MLS goes down for a 2nd straight year, they had to rip it up and go in a different direction.
Yeah, and Marco Royce, too. I mean, I think he's a very good player, but when he's healthy, and the problem is that win hasn't been very often.
Yeah, he's played exactly 1 season's worth of games over 2.5 seasons so far.
And they're also dealing with a couple other injuries tonight. Eric Tommy, who they brought in from Kansas City as a DP, is not playing tonight. And you also have Jacob Glesnes, one of those big defensive ads, is not in there tonight, even though Justin Hack, the New York City FC X-Man, is. So it's a bit of a hobbled lineup for the Galaxy as they come in, especially off that loss to Toluca.
Yeah, I was going to say a hobbled mentality, too, because they got bounced in a big way against Toluca.
It was not pretty against Toluca. No, it wasn't. Well, look, what is always pretty is our keys to the game. They are presented by Toyota, and they're also presented by Steve Davis.
Thank you, Sam. Well, number one, they got to get off to a flying start. There's just no hiding. Last week was a stinker, and the most absolute certain way you can ensure tonight isn't another one is with a good, fast, confident opening 15 minutes, so they got to get off to a good start tonight. Number 2 is they need to be fast in those opportunities in the transition. The faster you can go vertical against the Galaxy, the better, because for 3 years now, they've been somewhere between poor and absolute disaster when setting up behind the ball. That's just how it's been under Greg Vandy. I really do think FC Dallas will find opportunities in the transition, but you've got to attack those moments with a real swagger, with a real tenacity. And then number 3, guys, they got to make it physical, because I don't always see a high level of physical commitment from the LA Galaxy. You know, they lose duels, they don't throw bodies in front of shots, and I feel like tonight if Dallas can make it a scrap, make it physical, make it LA Galaxy uncomfortable, I think FC Dallas has a good shot at all 3 points. Those are your keys presented by Toyota.
Thank you, Steve Davis. The players are on the field. Shaq Moore leading the way for FC Dallas. They'll be in their Inferno kit tonight as they take on the LA Galaxy. Well, before we take a break and bring you back for kickoff, let's go ahead and throw it to our PA announcer, Chris Bukambuso, for the national anthem.
And was awarded 3 Legion of Merit. An impact on soldiers and their families. Thank you, Toyota Hero of the Match, and Sergeant Major Jeff Darlington. Fans by national anthem of the United States. Performed tonight by Tracy Wilson.
At Toyota, we don't just build trucks. We build something that's meant to last. That's why the 2026 Tundra is built to tough it out and to take it easy. Built to carry tradition and to make new ones. Built stronger, built louder, built here. The 2026 Toyota Tundra. Built in Texas, driven everywhere. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
It's a moment when I show up, God, I'm saying wow.
Welcome to the world of WinStar, the casino of FC Dallas, where 10,000 electronic games, plus roulette, craps, and blackjack is just the beginning. Get lost in our 2-story luxury spa, rest in one of our vast hotel towers, and catch the biggest names in music and comedy at the spectacular Lucas Oil Live, all just 1 hour north of DFW. So come live in the wow at the world of WinStar.
God, I'm saying wow.
Want to hear something incredible? That's Eleanor. Just 10 hours after being born, Eleanor was airlifted to Children's Health and met by our expert team trained in cardiac and critical care. At 4 days old, she received a stent to help her heart pump blood to the rest of her body. And today, she's a happy, healthy 1-year-old. That's incredible. That's Children's Health. Incredible together.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
We welcome you into Toyota Stadium tonight, where FC Dallas is set for the second of 3 straight home matches here in Frisco. It's an MLS original matchup between Dallas and the Los Angeles Galaxy. And of course, after 30 seasons and almost 100 contests between these two, there have been plenty of memorable matchups over the years, led by Christ, Donovan, Keane, and Cooper. But in the 97th edition of this longtime fixture, Dallas looks to MLS's top scorer, Petter Musa, to provide the goals as they look to get back in the win column. Ryan Figert here in the booth to describe the action for you tonight, alongside my good friend Steve Davis. And Steve, this is a big one for FC Dallas. It feels like with this 3-game homestand, you wanted at least 7 points, and it has to be a win tonight after the draw against St. Louis last week.
Well, you know, I've never been great at math, but if you're going to get 7, you got to get 3 tonight. So I agree. You know, the thing is, if they could get 3 tonight, they would have already matched like half of the home points they got all of last year. They've done better at home this year, but they need to push it a little bit more tonight and get all 3.
Dallas's number 9, Petter Musa, with a handshake and a hug for the number 99 playing up front for the Galaxy. That's Joao Klaus. 12 goals between them. But as we mentioned, it's Petter Musa leading the way early in the season alongside Sam Surridge and Lionel Messi with 7 goals in 2026.
You know, it's funny because FC Dallas clearly doing better offensively this year. You average more than 2 goals a game. You're doing pretty well. On the other hand, they're so Musa and Farrington dependent. Hard to make a real assessment there. But, you know, if those two can keep the party going, then all the better.
Valiente supporting the perfect Farrington in attack tonight. We await the whistle from the referee, Marcos de Oliveira. He and his assistants decked out in fluorescent orange with black shorts, as Dallas are in their gray with red accents. The Galaxy in all purple with yellow stripes. Michael Colodi in all green down to our right. JT Marcinkowski keeps his place in the Galaxy goal in all yellow down to our left.
I thought we were into the hot season, but we got another nice, cool night tonight. Huh?
Beautiful night for soccer as we are underway between the Dallas side and the Galaxy. Dietzen quickly onto the ball after the Galaxy launch it long. His clearance deflected by Peck, and Klaus is going to look to keep this alive. Dietzen, nice challenge there, taking it away from Cuevas, but couldn't connect with Farrington, who had gone on a different path. And it's turned over to the Galaxy. A Galaxy side, Steve, that like to have a lot of the possession. They're up there in the top 5 in MLS in pass completion and pass completion percentage.
Yeah, they're absolutely going to want the ball a lot tonight. They're pretty good at it, but they will make mistakes coming out of the back, and that's why I think Dallas will be pressing.
Cap is over to Kaique, out to Herman Johansson, back in the starting 11, as is the young Brazilian who exchanges passes with him. They'll swing it across the back line. Over towards the captain tonight, Shockmore in the absence of Ramiro. Back to the other side with Ibiaga. Painsil applies the pressure. Ball into the feet of Valiente. Combination with Kaique just inside the Galaxy half on the far side. Valiente forced back on the dribble, splits two players and goes down. Foul there conceded by the former Dallas man, John Nelson.
And as we sort of suspected, Galaxy setting up with 5 across the back, so all the more important for Dallas to be vertical as soon as they get the ball.
Direct ball looking for Musa over the head of both he and the Galaxy captain Maya Yoshida, and now Marcinkowski puts a foot through it. Shockmore winning the header, just keeping it away from Gabriel Peck, finds Kappas. Now Valiente able to turn in the middle, out to Johansson. Johansson looking to return it to him, but he's got to throw as Nelson there defensively for LA.
Little surprised to see Yoshida back in the lineup. He's 37 years old. Played the other night in that game against Toluca.
He's been very durable despite the age since coming over from Europe. Long career with the likes of Southampton, Schalke. Here's pressure from Dietzen, winning it up high up the field for Dallas, driving up the left side. Dietzen against Garces, couldn't find a way past the Colombian. Shockmore will keep the pressure on, hoisted it up in the air. Kappas sets it down at his feet.
I said they'd make mistakes. Garces passed that ball right to Dietzen a minute ago.
Peck able to step in and intercept the pass from Iragide. Then Kappas comes and wins it back. It looked pretty clean to me, but Peck launched himself to the floor, and the referee did blow the whistle. First free kick of the game for the Galaxy.
Marcos de Oliveira, the man in the bright orange tonight, running the middle with the whistle.
A little too Houston Dynamo coated with that outfit for the referees tonight, the orange and black.
Very Halloween.
Edwin Cerrillo back in Frisco on the ball here. Former FC Dallas homegrown, now an MLS Cup champion with the Galaxy.
Yeah, the way they'll set up, Sanabria and Cerrillo will be the two-man screen in front of the 5.
Now it's Dietzen late to the tackle there on Cuevas, right on the halfway line in front of the 4th official. Tonight is Lucas Spala.
And as usual, Gabriel Peck will set up on the right side. It'll be Painsil on the left and João Klaus operating in the middle.
Painsil threatening a run in behind, and Cuevas did play the ball, but the run had stopped from the Ghanaian winger, and it rolls through for Collodi.
No surprises for Dallas, just as we thought they would set up. Urguide right in the middle of the back 3. Shockmore to the left, Ibiaga to the right, Dietzen playing the left wing back, Herman Johansson on the right.
Urguide long towards Musa. Musa flicks it up in the air. Kappas wins the second ball, out to Dietzen here on the near side. Musa trailing the play, asking for it. Dietzen back to Kappas. To the byline, Kappas back for the Haitian. Combination here between the two acquisitions last summer for FC Dallas and Dietzen and Kappas, but it breaks down as Kappas was in an offside position. And Musa's having a word saying, I was calling for the ball and I would like it next time, please, sir.
And I would say it's not a bad idea to give it to him. Pretty good start for FC Dallas. We've seen a couple of players immediately get into the physical battles. Dietzen was one of them right off the bat. That's good. A couple of interceptions coming out of the back, pressuring LA Galaxy, who again, I think can't be very confident right now. Did get a win on the road last week at Austin, but they don't win a lot on the road, and they don't win a lot in Dallas.
Marcinkowski long, Urguide wins the header. Musa sets it down for Kappas, chipped in behind for the run of Farrington. Yoshida got a foot to it, not clear though. Now Garces has to deal with it, and eventually Cuevas heads it down the line. Peck unable to control it. And Steve, to your point, 26 wins, 7 draws, and 9 losses for FC Dallas here against the LA Galaxy. The Galaxy slightly pulled the edge in the overall series. I feel like they used to play each other 4 or 5 times a season in the early days.
They did.
And that's why we're near 100 matches between these two teams all time.
Yeah, they're 2 of the original 10 Major League Soccer.
Kappas sliding interception. Now Musa top of the box. Musa on the volley, dipping, but not enough dip to get under the crossbar. But it had Marcinkowski worried as the shot came in from 20 yards there.
A nice little combination play right in the middle of the field, and I thought maybe Musa was going to take one more touch and drive into the penalty area, but I think he saw a little gap between Marcinkowski and the goal and thought he could maybe chip it over him, and he didn't miss by much.
First effort towards goal coming in the 5th minute for the Hoops. Farrington going early, trying to press off the goal kick. He's going to force a retake here.
That little combination was between Kappas over to Valiente and then back to Musa.
This time they do take it short. Farrington presses. Marcinkowski goes long towards Klaus. Klaus very good in the air, can win those flicked-on headers. He wins this one, but Shaq Moore able to comfortably retrieve. Ibiaga out to Valiente. Pumps up wide on the right. Trying to combine here with Kayike. Back to the Uruguayan. Sliding tackle there from Sanabria. Turns possession over for the Galaxy, but Kappas quickly back onto it. Now he puts Ibiaga in a rough spot here with Klaus closing him down. Back to Collodi. And Collodi will send it out into the tarps on the far side, as that got a little bit messy there between Kappas and Ibiaga.
Yeah, Kappas put Ibiaga in trouble. Ibiaga put Collodi in trouble, and Collodi had to scramble just to make sure it's a throw-in and not a corner kick.
Johansson defending Paintsel on the throw. Valiente back helping out, but here's Paintsel near the corner flag, dancing on the ball, cutting back, but Valiente strong in the tackle, and he'll send it long over the head of Musa to chase. Yoshida gets this one wrong. Musa in behind now, all alone. Musa against Marcinkowski. Petter Musa always going to score from there. It's the dream start Dallas desired. It's 1-0 early on here at Toyota Stadium.
Well, I said I was a little surprised that Yoshida was starting. I don't know if it was because he's fatigued or either way. He just made a big mess of that one, and Petter Musa pounced. Petter Musa had just a nice, easy run-in from the right side against Marcinkowski. And as Marcinkowski got out about 16 yards, Musa from right about a step outside the penalty area, right side, just says, I'm just going to ease this ball right by you for a 1-0 lead.
Just about as easy as they come for the premier number 9 in Major League Soccer. Now with the outright lead in goals, 8 in the early season. Petter Musa on fire, and the Galaxy making it all too easy.
Well, now, Ryan, we're going to see, did FCD learn a little lesson about 3 weeks ago against Houston when they started on fire, got a 2-goal lead. Of course, there's only a 1-goal lead, but then they sort of took their foot off the gas. And I know they got a talking to about that, so this is the time to just really pounce.
Farrington flicking this one on towards Musa. Yoshida much more sure-footed with that clearance. And just a really soft foul called against Urugide in the middle of the field, right under the nose of the referee. And if that's how he's going to call the game, fair enough, but I don't like Osaze's chances of escaping it without at least a booking if that is the level of a foul.
And he's already, the season's pretty young, but he's already 2 bookings away from a suspension. But I didn't see a whole lot in that one either.
Heavy touch on the far side from John Nelson. Valiente wins it back. Kayike turning under pressure. Kappas out wide for Johansson. Johansson, good first touch. Now he drives from outside to in. Finds Valiente over to Kayike. Scooped in behind, looking for Musa. Musa flicking it on towards Farrington. Cuevas with a nice intervention. Dietzen couldn't get to the follow-up. And now Peck will dribble clear, but Kappas doing a great job early in this game of just keeping the pressure on, winning it back well. Here he is again. Bending the ball in behind, looking for Musa at the back post. It's a good ball, a teasing ball, but just evades the Moose at the top of the box.
Yeah, I think Hack and Nelson did a pretty good job of sort of screening Moose off the ball on that one, but it was a good ball from Kappas well along the left side.
Paintsel in combination with Cerrillo, but Cerrillo gives it away to Ibiaga. Kayike finds Kappas, middle of the field, over to Farrington, left half channel. Looking at his options, finds Valiente, top of the box, out to Musa. Further wide right for Johansson. Johansson surveys his options, now cuts back. And he'll go all the way back for Ibiaga as that attack's broken down for the moment, but Dallas maintains possession.
Yeah, it broke down, but I think it's a really good choice by Johansson. He didn't just fire a ball in there willy-nilly. He looked up, didn't like his options, and just allowed Dallas to keep the ball.
Loading going long. Musa not yet back from an offside position, so Yoshida will retrieve. Over to Garces. This was the center back duo for their run to MLS Cup in 2024. Garces has certainly shown flashes. He's shown potential. He's shown speed. But he's usually the one to make the mistake at the back, and when you're experienced captain like Maya Yoshida is doing it, you can get yourself in a world of trouble.
Well, Garces made a mistake a while ago, too. He passed the ball right to Dietzen. It's just that he had a little bit of cover behind him.
Paintsel, middle of the field, looking to turn. Kayike clearing him out, and there's an easy foul call for Marcus de Oliveira, the referee. 1-0 your score, 10 minutes into this one. You can guess who's on the score sheet. It's the Dallas number 9.
So as bad as the press was and as easily as St. Louis was breaking it last week, the press tonight, the numbers are right, the timing is right. Valiente has a lot to do with that. He's just better at it than Delgado was. Kappas as an organizer behind it all is working, so LA really having problems getting out of the back right now, and it just happened again.
Yeah, Garces just going to lift it in behind. Collodi picks it up. Kaike receives it off the back line. Keep it moving back for Uragide. Shaq Moore making his 100th start in his MLS career between Nashville and Dallas. Down the line for Dietzen, who plays it along for Farrington. Sliding tackle from Sanabria, not penalized.
I don't know about that. I mean, it looks like there's a little bit of a scissor motion on that, and that's dangerous.
I mean, we've seen the standard for a foul is absolutely on the floor early in this game. Very surprised. Maybe the referee just didn't have a good view of it, but the linesman certainly did if he didn't. Farrington now back to his feet. Cuevas, the Galaxy homegrown, takes the throw. Klaus can't hold it up, and then Klaus clears out Kappas, and then Yoshida clears out Musa, who's down and got his arms outstretched, looking at Yoshida like, what are you doing? Kappas slow to get up. A couple of really physical challenges there.
Marcos Talavera, he's going to have to get on top of this one really quick.
And it was cleats on the knee. Klaus on Kappas. Not a lot of force, but he did catch him. A lot of force in Maya Yoshida barging through the back of Petter Musa. Talking to for João Klaus from the referee as the Galaxy set their line 25 yards from goal. Valiente standing over the free kick. Gabriel Peck, the one-man wall. Plenty of height in this Dallas lineup. And you consider Valiente the one taking it. Pretty much everybody over 6 foot trying to get on the end of it. Flicked up in the air off the head of Uragide, who'll go and at least have a look on the second attempt, but Marcinkowski makes the claim. Fired out to Cuevas. Cerrillo switching the field here, and Dallas rotating defensively. And back for Cerrillo in the middle.
Ryan, I was having a little laugh there because I thought at first Uragide had stayed up too long and he was going to get caught out of position. Then he got those long legs going, and about 2.5 seconds later, he was in position.
Garces moving it over for Justin Hack, who was the offseason acquisition from New York City FC. Played some in midfield, some in the back three. He's the left of the back three tonight. As is Shaq Moore on the opposite side. He's got it here. Kappas back to him. Under pressure from Peck. Out wide for Dietzen. Second straight start for Dietzen. Finds the feet of Farrington. He's then cleared out by Miro Garces.
Somebody for FC Dallas might have to go in and commit a hard foul here. That's 3 hard fouls in a row from the Galaxy, and you know, if the Oliveira's going to let him do it, then I think somebody in the white shirt's going to have to sort of match that level of physicality.
Shaq not seeing anything he likes. He's going to leave this for Collodi to take. Collodi driving it towards Farrington on the near side. Farrington looking for a trademark first touch, but he was put off there by Cuevas and runs out for a goal kick.
Yeah, he needs more air into the ball to get one of those.
I don't know. Maybe he's got more clubs in the bag that we haven't seen
might.
yet. Keeps pulling out new ones every week.
We thought the LA Galaxy would have more possession. Right now it's 62% for Dallas, and it's because the Galaxy just can't get out of the back, and they're a team that will keep trying.
Marcinkowski contested ball through the middle of the field for Peck, and Dietzen had tracked him in there and commits the foul. Interesting when you're sort of in a mirror match of formations. The back five on both sides. You expect the wing backs will see a lot of each other, but of course Peck and Paintsel, a lot of license for them to roam around and create. Musa putting the pressure higher up the field, chasing it towards Marcinkowski, who will lift it out to Hack. Valiente full sprint to close him down. And Hack finds the feet of Paintsel. combined with Klaus. Good tackle there from Ibiaga. In there ahead of Paintsel, and now finds Farrington. Farrington, tried to skip past Garces, but couldn't keep hold of it. And it was on if he beat that first man. Musso making the run in behind. That sprint from Valiente really standing out to me, though. He got beat on the initial press, and most number 10s in this league and anywhere in the world. We'll get back to that in a second as Paintsel's in along the left side. Johansson got beat initially, but got back and used his strength well. Wins possession back for Dallas inside the 18, and Kaique hits the clearance. It's out for a throw-in on the near side. Most number 10s aren't going to make that sprint, and ultimately he made it difficult on Justin Hack to make a contested pass, and possession turns over. It doesn't go on his stat sheet, but that effort can't go unnoticed.
Paintsel a minute ago really blew past Herman Johansson. Johansson's going to have to assess that speed, understand that Paintsel's got that speed, and sort of play it that way.
It's really funny when you look at the top speed numbers. Sebastian Ibiaga set the FC Dallas season top speed last week. It's really sometimes more about the acceleration, the first 5 or 10 yards, because ultimately most of these players can get up towards that top speed. It's just how often they do. Here's a combination in the middle. Kappas towards Farrington, who wasn't back from an offside position. Marcinkowski out off his line, and he sends it out of play on the far side.
Sometimes those speed numbers, I'm just not sure where they come from, to be honest. We know the guys on the team that are fast.
Farrington along the right side, 2 defenders' attention. Stays on it, cuts back. Holding off Nelson, finds Kaique in the middle. Kaique into Valiente, back to him. Towards Valiente, gave it away, now a ball in behind, looking for Klaus, but Uriguide made sure it never got there. Important intervention as Klaus was streaking in behind. Shaq Moore turns and finds Kaique in the middle. Valiente to the feet of Musa. Garces pokes it away from him. Maybe numbers in the break for the Galaxy. Musa trying to make up for the mistake. Got a piece of Paintsel. Ultimately, Kaique commits the foul.
We're in the 19th minute. LA Galaxy has created absolutely zero threat on goal. A little run by Paintsel a while ago that Herman Johansson in the end nullified. That's about as close as they've come. And other than that, it was Ibiaga and Collodi sort of having to scramble on one of their own back passes a while ago. Otherwise, not much for Collodi to do.
Marcinkowski rolls it over to Yoshida, who's under no pressure here. Dallas stepping the line of confrontation back a few yards. Galaxy play it through that first line out to Justin Hack. Into the middle for Sanabria. Out to John Nelson, who was drafted by FC Dallas in the first round, 10th overall back in 2019.
He's a good serviceable player. Maybe not, he was never going to be an all-star maybe, but I thought he was a good left back. Just he had some back issues and they let him go, and I'm just glad to see him back out there. He's got his health back.
On it again here, finds the other former Dallas man in the lineup, Edwin Cerrillo. Over to Garces on the near side. Garces out to Cuevas, Dietzen defending. Cuevas back for Garces. Goes down by Kappas, forced back towards Yoshida. Dallas just holding their defensive shape as Garces stands on the ball just into the Dallas half, and he'll circulate it now all the way back to Marcinkowski. Valiente putting him under pressure again. Marcinkowski lifts it out to Cuevas. Good ball this time. Now Garces with Musa defending from behind. Here's Garces, ball in behind for Klaus. Ibiaga defending in space. Johansson getting up to top speed and beating John Nelson to the ball, and that is an important recovery run from the big Swede.
That's also his experience. He just took a perfect angle there, because I thought at first he was in trouble, but you're right, he found the top gear and had the angle and snuffed that one out.
Collodi over to Shaq Moore, plays it along the ground inside the 18. Dallas playing with fire a little bit, but worked through the pressure well. Now Kappas can drive through the middle of the field, hits the ball in behind, looking for Farrington, but got it all wrong. Didn't need to release the ball early. He could have taken some more space there.
I actually thought, I think I liked the pass. I like the idea. He just hit it wrong.
20th minute. Pedermusa with the goal in the 7th. And here's another turnover. Kappas looking at options ahead of him. He finds Valiente. Valiente scoops it in behind for Pedermusa. All alone. Pedermusa with plenty of time. Rolls it into the net. The flag goes up. But he at least forces him to take a look. There was nobody inside the 18 besides the Dallas number 9 who took all the time he needed to put it past Marcinkowski and force a video review.
Such a nice little scoop pass from Valiente. And
there's a chance this goal will stand.
It was Logan Farrington that's 2 yards offside, but I think that Musa was onside there.
Justin Hack, the one a step behind the rest of the back line. Musa was so obviously in behind that it looked offside, but then on second look, maybe the trailing leg of Justin Hack.
I don't even think it was a trailing leg, Ryan. I think he's about a half a body onside there. Now look, here's 2 issues. Number 1, the cuts of the grass are going to help, but number 2, it's going to be tough because, because the flag went up, so they're going to have clear evidence. But honestly, I think they've got it. The cameras can play tricks with the angle, but I think they've really got something to look at here.
Still holding up the play as it's being checked, and the offside will stand. Wow.
I'm not sure they got that one right, but again, it might, I think it's just a case of there just wasn't enough compelling evidence to overturn it.
A break for the Galaxy, really. Inches away from conceding the second.
Look, the thing is, the Galaxy, though, they will dependably break down a couple of times a game on the back line. Like that. That was a breakdown, even if they weren't ultimately punished. A couple of times a game, they will dependably give you the ball, so we're seeing it.
Also, talk about the great pass from Valiente, the scoop ball in behind.
Yeah.
Johansson on the far side for Dallas, into Kaique in the middle. First time ball forward, finds the feet of Valiente. Tough one to deal with for Wako. He can't keep hold of it. Now Hack back to his goalkeeper. And Peck looking to get creative there. He didn't really want to go up in an aerial battle with Shaq Moore, and it's just going to fly out of play.
I tell you what, Moore got lucky, though. That ball did go out of into touch, because I think Peck would have been off to the races otherwise.
Collodi lifting it out towards Johansson. Johansson wins the header. And then Justin Hack gets ahead to it for the Galaxy. Possession now with the visitors. Moving it from left to right along the back line. Out to Cuevas. Kappas intercepts the pass into the middle and quickly gets it out towards Dietzen, but Cuevas looking to make up for the mistake, wins it back for the Galaxy. Both teams exchanging passes with each other, but now here's Kappas in the middle again. His pass blocked by Cerrillo. Klaus, nice flick there through the legs of Urguide. Shackmore cleaning it up with a sliding challenge. Breaks for Edwin Cerrillo. Numbers on the near side for the Galaxy. Peck looking for Paintsill. And Urguide not making much of a challenge at all, but Paintsill throws himself to the ground, and now it's a really dangerous opportunity just outside the box for a free kick.
Yeah, it's well along the right side, 2 steps outside the penalty area.
Just don't understand how the game's being refereed right now. But they'll get a chance nonetheless. No booking for Osaze in that tackle. You think Gabriel Peck is going to have a word and probably take this free kick. It's a good angle for the left foot of the Brazilian. A very tall Dallas wall. Ibiaga, Musa, Johansson. And now potentially Valiente joining in as well, as Collodi out off his line shouting at his teammates. There he goes to add another player to that wall.
Yeah, it's a taller Farrington as opposed to Valiente.
Valiente there to make sure they don't try and do something cheeky and go short. Big moment in the game for the Galaxy, who've had very little going forward. Now we've got another player joining the barricade, laying down beneath it. It's Dietzen. Galaxy have their own 3-player wall. There's a lot of bodies for Collodi to look through.
Lots of wall.
A lot of wall. It's either going to be Cuevas or Peck. It is Gabriel Peck bending towards the back post, but Collodi makes a nice diving save. Looking through the multiple layers of human barrier there. And now Dallas play out to Dietzen. A lot of green grass for the Haitian to run into. He puts the ball in behind looking for Farrington, easily picked out by Garces. Breaks for Kaike out to Johansson, driving outside the end on the far side. Kaike holding strong into the challenge from Sanabria. And now Ibiaga scoops a nice ball in behind for Johansson. Receives it with Hack on his back. Dropped off for Farrington. Kaike in the middle. Kappas back to Ibiaga. Kappas just connecting here, finding Johansson. Johansson into the feet of Farrington, sets it back for Kappas. A little bit too much on it, forces him wide. It's a nice build up here for Dallas. Again, the Swede finds Kappas. And that pass a little too telegraphed. Justin Hack able to get in the way, and now maybe something on the break for the Galaxy. Valiente defending in open space against Peck. He was able to hold him up, but couldn't win it back. Eventually, Ibiaga is penalized, and it's just getting a bit ridiculous. Now the yellow card out, as the referee has just been bought and sold by the Galaxy wingers early in this game. They got Dallas got 2 defenders around the ball, had control of the situation, and Peck, understanding that, goes to ground. And now Ibiaga has to deal with a yellow card for the rest of this one.
Yeah, it wasn't much of a foul on Ibiaga. I can only assume that was the Oliveira sort of citing persistent infringement, as it's the 8th foul call on FC Dallas against 4 for the Galaxy.
This free kick from about 40 yards out towards the left side. Bodies gathered at the back post as Dallas sets their line 22 yards from goal. It'll be Gabriel Peck again. The referee not happy with the contact between the 4 Galaxy players and the Dallas defenders at the back post. He's going to have a word first. Galaxy players make their run, and Peck bends the ball in behind, looking for Yoshida. Johansson heads it away, and Valiente volleys clear. A couple of important defensive moments early in this game for Herman Johansson. Galaxy forced all the way back to Marcinkowski. Kaike leading the press all the way to the goalkeeper. Here's a header flicked on by Yoshida in behind, where Shaq Moore will nod it back for Michael Collodi. Approaching the 30th minute. Dallas with the early lead. They're unbeaten when scoring first in the young season. Here's Kappa spinning a nice ball in behind for Musa. Musa with a foot race alongside Maya Yoshida. The ball holds him up. Musa banging bodies now with Garces. Gets to the end line. Left-footed ball towards the back post. Farrington on goal, but saved by Marcinkowski. A beautiful cross from Petter Musa on his weaker left foot. Nearly turning into 2.
Yeah, Farrington at the back post. He was having to sort of tread backwards, and he just couldn't get a lot of power on it. Still made Marcinkowski work on the save, though. Nice cross from the corner.
Peck making a run in behind. Pencil looking to find him. Ibiaga blocks it out for a throw. So he had the very narrowly offside goal. Now that latest shot from Farrington, another warning sign as Dallas looks to double the lead. Here's Peck looking to respond at the other end. Low cross from the far side is gobbled up by Collodi. Cross in the area.
Suddenly Collodi's having to be a little bit busier.
Kappas very involved in this first half. Gets it out to Valiente, now wide on the left.
Kappas absolutely running the show in midfield.
Kaike into Farrington. Farrington slip ball, finds Musa in the middle. Now towards Valiente. Valiente 22 yards on the left side. Out to Dietzen. Back to the Uruguayan. Bending ball in behind, looking for Musa. Marcinkowski comes, gets 2 hands to it, and then clatters into the Moose, who stayed down here. And the referee is going to stop the play so they can check on Petter Musa. Musa covering his face with his hands. Marcinkowski had to come a long way to try and make a play on that cross.
De Oliveira indicating that it might be something with his head.
I think it was just full body contact. But he'll be checked out nonetheless.
Well, first when I saw him sort of put his hands up on his head, I thought it was one of those, oh no, what have I done? But I know it's weird to say, but I'm almost happy to see that it might be a little bit something with his head, because that's means that even if he got there was some contact there. He got Marcinkowski's shoulder. I mean,
fully committed from the goalkeeper.
He cleared out his own man and Musa. Justin Hack got a lot of that too.
Musa back to his feet. Applauded by the hometown faithful here in Frisco.
Interesting to see who's warming up down there, just in case Musa couldn't go.
Yeah, Santi Moreno sporting the new hairstyle, the big afro. I'm sure we'll see him later on in this game either way.
Yeah, we know that he got about 15 minutes against DC United. Maybe not even that. Had about 25 last week, and we know that Eric Quill is hoping to get him 35, 40, maybe 45 minutes tonight.
On the drop ball, Kappas bending it in behind for Valiente. Now Dietzen trying to dig out a cross. Deflected, and Marcinkowski picks it up before it goes behind for a corner. Musa had to get checked out by the neutral doctor here for a potential concussion, but as you can hear, the applause for the Moose as he's back on the field now. Peck looking to turn in the middle. Kaike into the challenge. Both he and João Klaus fighting for it. Origide out to challenge. Got a little bit dragged out of position, but he's back now as the Galaxy build up on the far side. Justin Hack forced to wait on that pass, and now Yoshida does well to split the two Dallas strikers and avoid giving it away. Lucky bounce off the pass from Cerrillo, finds Paintsel, who's going to bend this in behind, looking for Klaus. Trying to use the outside of the foot, didn't get the bend he was looking for. It's behind for a goal kick.
A couple of times here I've seen Ibiaga look to step into a challenge and then sort of back out, understanding that he's got that yellow card. Unfortunate as it was, because again, I don't think it was a yellow card necessarily on Ibiaga as much as it was for sort of team persistent infringement.
Origide turns and plays it back to Collodi. Collodi off the left foot, and that one hits Edwin Cerrillo right in the forehead, out for a throw on the far side. He was looking to play into Musa's feet. Johansson will restart play with the throw. 1-2 with Kaike, then Johansson just puts it as high into the air as he can. Farrington banging bodies with Yoshida. They both go down. Farrington called for the foul. Garces over to Cuevas. Dallas stepping the pressure higher up the field. Shackmore hops the passing lane, now driving forward up the left side, out wide for Dietzen. Dietzen cuts back, finds Moore once again. Kaike space in the middle. Bending ball in behind again, looking for Musa. Musa nods it down for Valiente. Shot through traffic, hit bodies and bounced out, and the offside flag goes up belatedly on the Moose again. This little chip ball, a couple of nearly moments now.
Musa does a great job, though, there to recognize that he's not going to be able to direct anything on goal with any kind of power, so instead he just sort of lays it back softly into the path of Valiente. And it was a nice little chip ball from Kaike, and Petar Musa was not offside. It just wasn't. We just got another quick look at that, and the referee's assistant got that one incorrect. It didn't matter in the final reckoning, but
Little flag happy on the far side. Maybe just discrediting the timing and the pass on both of those situations. Cuevas on it here on the near side. Garces finds Sanabria. Over to Justin Hack and wide for Nelson. Paintsel in between the lines, plays it back for Cerrillo. Cerrillo swinging it out wide here on the near side for Cuevas, looking to combine with Peck. Nowhere to go in a forward direction. He's back in field with Cerrillo, being chased back by Valiente. Pack now driving forward and into the 18 along the left side, and he did a lot of good work there on the dribble, but couldn't connect with John Nelson, and that's not really who the Galaxy want trying to combine in the final third.
You know, it's interesting that Gabriel Peck, I mean, I think he's one of the better wingers in Major League Soccer. He's on the right side, but whatever danger they've been able to create, it's almost all down the left side. Over there with Paintsel and John Nelson.
Lodi takes the goal kick, launching it long. Farrington challenging for it. Yoshida wins the header. Uriguide up into the air, not clear. Paintsel sets it down for Cerrillo. And the possession we expected the Galaxy to have coming to the fore over the course of this first half after Dallas had a majority in the opening 20 minutes. Here's Kappas again, winning it back in the middle off of Peck. Farrington through the legs of Sanabria, now driving through the middle. And along the left side, Kappas ball towards the back post. It's Musa again. And it's 9 already. 2 on the night. He's on hat trick watch, but everybody's enjoying the Moose show here in Frisco.
Well, we said that LA would give the ball away. You got to attack it, get a goal, which they did. We also said that LA was bad in transition. And if you could get an interception in midfield, which Dallas just did, via Shaq Moore and Kappas, you got to go. You got to get right at them. They did. Ball bounces over to the left. One pass into the middle. There's Musa. There's a goal. There's 2-0.
Clinical with the opportunities in this first half, as we expect the Croatian to be. Starts with great work from Farrington. He'll get a second assist. Kappas will get an assist on the goal. A great ball across to cap off a great first half.
Yeah, and I think I beg your pardon. I think I said it was Kappas and Kaike on that combining to turn over the ball in midfield. It was actually Farrington and Kaike.
Just a beautiful sweeping move. And we are hooping and hollering in the first half.
And honestly, it could be 3. I still think that the other goal that was ruled offside on Moose, I still think that was a good goal, but they got 2 anyway.
Took a moment to check, but this one will stand. And we are back underway. 2-0 now your score. And the Galaxy looking for answers. They've been the architects of their own downfall at times in this first half. Yoshida really at fault for the first goal. Has it again here. They're going to be forced back to Marcinkowski. Musa hunting for a hat trick for the rest of the night. Already with 1 on the season, and with that hat trick against San Diego, he became the first ever FC Dallas player with 2 career hat tricks. And that's despite Jason Kreis and all of his exploits and scoring double digits against the Galaxy alone.
It's still surprising to hear.
If the night continues in the direction it's going, it's going to be 3 hat tricks. And you know, with the World Cup on the horizon and doing everything he can to get in that Croatian squad.
Look, we're only on game 8. I mean, he's already halfway to the FC Dallas single season record.
The pace is absurd early in the year for Musa.
It is.
Uriguide tripped up, but Ebiaga quickly onto it, finds the feet of Valiente, a rare miscontrolled pass for Joaquin Valiente, and now the Galaxy have something going in the final third. Cuevas on the overlap, puts it through the legs of Dietzen. Dietzen commits the foul. Shaq Moore visibly frustrated there as he had done some good work on the recovery. And the Rhine at full voice in this first half.
We said Dallas had to be physical, make it uncomfortable. That's the fouls are now 10-3. FC Dallas committing the 10.
I feel like if it was called a little bit differently, that number might be a little lower, but they are bringing
it would be, but it'd be
edge.
like 10-5.
Yeah, they're bringing the edge. Cuevas will stand over this one. Everybody bar John Nelson interested in attacking it. Everybody back defensively for Dallas. Valiente, the one-man wall. Referee still not quite satisfied. Now he is. Cuevas, left arm raised, whips this one in towards the near post. Kaike got a touch, up into the air. And Dietzen puts it up in the air again, not cleared yet. Now Shaq Moore will send it downfield off his left foot. Lifted out to the far side for Paintsill. Shaq Moore, some really good front-footed defending there. Steps in front of the Ghanaian. It'll be a throw for the Galaxy. And the center backs will make their way back to their usual stations.
Ryan, we'll talk about it at halftime with Sam and Garrett, but right now, Joaquin Valiente is finding all kinds of ways to contribute to this game.
I might have to join you for halftime because there's about 5 or 6 players that are worth talking about for their first half performance. I think Shaq Moore is one of them. He just put it out for a throw again.
Yeah, I agree. Kappas has been all over the place, running the midfield. Obviously, Peter Musa, 2 goals.
Funny how often he kind of becomes the last bullet point on the running order because it's so routine, it's so expected for Peter Musa. Though we should not fail to appreciate greatness.
I think Herman Johansson's quietly had a nice, solid game, too.
Musa chasing down to Garces on the near side. Peck allowed some time here to put the ball in to the 18. Chested down by Johansson and sent clear. Final 3 minutes plus whatever's added on here in this first half. Very successful first 45 so far for Eric Quill's side. Hack out to Paintsill, still defending to do before the whistle sounds. Finds the ball in field, shot through traffic from Sanabria, sneaks past Collodi at the near post. And just like that, the Galaxy have a lifeline.
That kind of came out of nowhere, didn't it? Sanabria is sort of moving left to right. He's actually kind of got an angle where he's going a little bit backwards, and I don't know if Michael Collodi got screened or he just saw it a little late. It was a good shot. I don't know it was a banger. I'll get another look at it here, but again, the trouble is coming from that left side. Maybe a little bit of a deflection there as we look at it again. So it's Paintsill running it. Herman Johansson sort of cuts him behind him. Sanabria gets the ball caught up under his feet, and then he just unleashes a shot from a foot outside the penalty area.
I think it's an unlucky deflection.
They just showed another angle. It definitely caught a little bit of a deflection because it just didn't look like one that would have troubled Collodi unless he saw it late or unless, as we just saw, it did take a deflection.
So now the Galaxy with something to take with them into the halftime break. Still a minute plus stoppage time to play. Dallas have to make sure not to do what they did earlier this season against Houston and undo all of their good work in this first half. Concede again.
And Dallas gets to attack that Rhine end, the El Matador end in the second half. That's what they like to do.
This one lifted out in front of Gabriel Peck. He'll be unable to keep it in play, and we should see fourth official's board here soon.
They just haven't been able to unleash Peck over there. Everything dangerous has come through Paintsill's side on the left.
Dietzen takes the throw into Kappas. Over to Kaike, who hits the switch towards Valiente. Knocked down towards Musa. Johansson was in his own area code on the far side. Still looking to get on it. Peter Musa whistled for a foul. And Yoshida's down. Maybe got stepped on there by Musa, but Yoshida was down basically on top of the ball. And Musa was about to be all alone and behind, looking for the hat trick.
I mean, look, Marcos de Oliveira was a lot closer to that than we were. He was right on top of it, but I don't know. There's contact there.
It's Yoshida who went in for the tackle.
I just don't see the foul. Maybe there's a little.
No.
I mean, there's a little arm out, but.
That's a ridiculous call.
I agree.
And that would have been a hat trick probably for Musa. He's still looking for it here. Valiente picks off a pass in the final third, bending ball in towards the back post. It's Farrington, goes down. No real appeals for Logan there towards the referee.
Logan's
Man,
got to
the
hit
Galaxy
that first
can't
time.
get out of their own way. Dietzen down the line for Kaike. Nice ball into the feet of Farrington, able to turn with his first touch, then turn back. Pitbull back on it. 3 defenders around him. Beautiful piece of skill, and now Farrington past Sanabria. Sweet feeder out. Musa inside the D, looking to combine with Valiente. Couldn't find him, but they'll bring it back for a foul. As Sanabria just cleared out Logan Farrington, and that was born out of pure frustration.
Third time, Farrington's gotten really tough contact.
Very strangely refereed game. Shaq Moore's having a word right now with the referee, asking where the card is.
Well, there's several of them asking that question. They got a free kick now. It's going to be at about 32 yards out, left side. I think get a little bit out of shooting range.
It'll be Valiente, and as I mentioned, he's really the only player outside of Kaike who's positioned at the top of the box, and maybe Dietzen, who you don't really rate to get on the end of a header. Everybody else 6 foot or taller is gathered at the top of the Galaxy penalty area. 2 arms raised. Wacko lifts it in towards the back post. Johansson closest to it. It breaks for Herman Johansson. Settles it and then finds Kappas. Lifted in towards the back post, looking for Ibiaga. Up in the air and headed away. Good work that time from Valiente to stop the counter. Uragide challenging for the second ball. And another absolute car crash, this time after the whistle. Yoshida clearing out Dietzen. It was Musa, I think, called for the initial foul, but man. Good to see Dietzen back to his feet quickly. And Yoshida feeling the effects of a couple of late tackles he's put in this first half. Cerrillo, halfway through the 5 minutes added on. Gabriel Peck, top of the box, slips it in behind for Paintsel along the right side. Paintsel to the roof of the net. And it's unfortunately the same story again. 40 fantastic minutes for FC Dallas, wiped off the board before the halftime whistle.
And unfortunately, I was just about to say, Dallas is just not in good shape right now. They just got cut open way too easily there. Dietzen's a little out of position. Kaike can't get back quickly enough. Things just sort of broke down from there. Dallas just got spread out across the field. Again, Dietzen's not quite deep enough, and Paintsel gets put in way too easily along that right center channel and giving Michael Collodi absolutely no chance. Good finish by Paintsel, but you know he's at 12 yards and only Collodi to beat.
First goal of the season for Joseph Paintsel, who led the Galaxy with 10 last year. A funny old game and a familiar old script. Good thing is, the first time this happened, it all ended with smiles and with Eric Quell celebrating in the Rhine with the fans, but he's going to have work to do.
You know, the other thing is they've got Marco Royce on the bench. And the one thing they probably miss, oh my heavens, that's Klaus leading with his elbow. Not a big shout for a yellow card that time, so maybe it's not as bad as I thought.
Musa on the turn out to Johansson towards Valiente. Yoshida intercepts. Now we're in the final seconds of this first half. Marcinkowski long. Dietzen and Peck challenging for it. It goes back the other way. Garza's heavy touch turns it over to Kappas. Kappas back for Ibiaga under pressure from 2 Galaxy players. All the way back for Collodi. Shaq Moore driving beyond Joao Klaus into the Galaxy half. Farrington dropping off the front line. Up the left side. Farrington, 2 defenders now on his case. Sends the low ball in towards the near post. Yoshida sends it clear. And we'll continue the play on here beyond the 5 minutes added. Shaq Moore takes the throw. Musa's got in behind the back line. No offside on the throw in, of course. Receives it inside the area. Heavy touch from Farrington. Was he able to keep it in play? He was. Finds Dietzen. Dietzen's cross deflected. Looking for Kappas. Headed away. Shaq Moore retrieves. And now the game resembles what we saw for most of the first half again. Jack Moore looking for the diagonal towards Johansson at the back post. Johansson challenging with Nelson, bodies him off, and then misses his kick, going for the shot, or maybe the cross towards Musa. But the Galaxy forced to concede a corner. We've played now 6 minutes added on, and there's still time to take it.
Well, we've all been there, but Herman Johansson got to spinning, and he just spun himself into the ground there and missed the volley.
See if Dallas can take the first half lead into the break. It's Valiente, probably the last opportunity. Bending the corner kick in towards Marcinkowski. Ibiaga wins the header. It's not cleared. Bouncing around the 6. And, well, what do you know? The whistle sounds foul against FC Dallas.
Dallas now up to 13 fouls. And I just hope that somebody just has a quiet word with the fourth official and says, look, 13-5. You don't tell me that we've actually had that many more fouls than LA Galaxy.
Well, a tale of two halves within one half. 40 minutes of Dallas flying to a 2-0 lead. Both goals coming from Petar Musa. And then a couple of quick counter punches for the Galaxy, who grabbed two late on. And we are all even heading into the interval. We've got a lot to talk about at the halftime break, and I will step aside for that. We thank you for joining us for the first 45 minutes of action. You're listening to FC Dallas Soccer, presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
You push your body hard in the name of fitness. Sure, it's for a good cause. But a good cause shouldn't mean sacrificing a good time. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
With the 2026 Toyota Tacoma all-terrain capability and advanced tech, you can do whatever you want.
Whatever we want?
Yep,
whatever we want! Like waking up in a tent with zero cell service on purpose.
Or driving down a rocky trail that was never actually a road.
Or going out and doing donuts before we've had breakfast.
Or catching sunrise by the lake. And maybe even a fish if we're lucky. The 2026 Toyota Tacoma, for every kind of adventure. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See toyota.com for details.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And a spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern. The future of medicine sparks here.
When you don't compromise on the court, you shouldn't compromise off of it either. Lose the calories, not the taste. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri. Copyright 2024.
After 45 minutes, it felt like a whole game in and of itself. It's FC Dallas 2, LA Galaxy 2. As it's been a whole game within a half here from Toyota Stadium in Frisco. Hello, everybody. Welcome to tonight's halftime show. It is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer, Toyota. Let's go places. Also brought to you by Advocare, building champions together. I'm your host, Sam Hale. I'll be joined in just a couple minutes by our halftime crew, Garrett Meltzer and Steve Davis. But let's start first with your halftime highlights, and they started in the 7th minute when, once again, after not scoring last week, Petar Musa got loose again.
Johansson defending Paintsel on the throw. Valiente back helping out, but here's Paintsel near the corner flag, dancing on the ball, cutting back, but Valiente strong in the tackle, and he'll send it long over the head of Musa to chase. Yoshida gets this one wrong. Musa in behind now, all alone. Musa against Marcinkowski. Petar Musa always going to score from there. It's the dream start Dallas desired. It's 1-0 early on here at Toyota Stadium.
First of the game for Musa, 8th of the season for the Golden Boot leader, and it would take him 30 minutes to double that tally.
Here's Kappas again, winning it back in the middle, off of Peck. Farrington through the legs of Sanabria, now driving through the middle. And along the left side, Kappas, ball towards the back post. It's Musa again. And it's 9 already.
Second goal of the game, the brace for Petar Musa. Should have had a third, but an offside call bailed out the Galaxy. But then the Galaxy bailed themselves out in the span of 5 minutes as Lucas Sanabria scores in the 43rd minute and Joseph Paintsel scores in the 45th plus third to make it 2-2 at halftime here from Toyota Stadium. Let's get you tonight's halftime stats. They are brought to you by UMB Bank. Dallas has the possession battle 61-39. 5 shots for Dallas, 4 of those on target. 3 shots for the Galaxy, 3 of those on target. Only 1 corner in the entire half. That went to the home side FCD. 2 saves tonight for JT Marcinkowski, 1 save for Michael Collodi. 13 fouls for Dallas, 5 for the Galaxy. Only 1 yellow card handed out so far. That went to Sebastian Ibiaga. And now we bring in our halftime crew. It's Garrett Meltzer and Steve Davis. And, lads, I had a whole thing planned about, hey, who was doing well in FC Dallas pick and play? Well, it was going to be a party. Instead, we're sitting here and it's 2-2, and it doesn't really feel like it, does it, Garrett?
No. I'll be honest. I think FC Dallas is very, very unlucky to not be winning this game right now. I think they dominated that first half. They deserve to score 3. Musa should have 3 goals.
I would agree.
It's one of the worst VAR missed offside calls I've ever seen, to be honest, because it's clear as day that he's not offside on the replay. I understand why it was called offside on the field because he's so far ahead once he gets the ball, but when you look on replay with the angle, the ball, when it was played, he's not behind the second-to-last defender, so it's a bad one for the VAR. But Dallas is going to be so disappointed to not be winning this game. They dominated it in pretty much every facet. A deflected goal, unfortunate it happens, but then just lost a little bit of concentration on the second one. Kaik doesn't follow the midfield runner who gets in behind, and then it's a good finish. I think Eric Quill's going to be pleased overall with how the team played, but he's going to be furious that the team is not winning at the same time.
Yeah, Steve, I think that's the thing. The Sanabria goal, you almost write that one off because these things happen. Deflections, it's almost like a goal in hockey sometimes. But the second goal with Paintsville specifically is the one where you kind of go, uh-oh, problem, because, A, it's the second goal you've allowed in 5 minutes to a team you've completely dominated all game. But, 2, he had so much room at 12 yards. There was just nobody around the guy. And I know he's fast, but that just can't happen.
Well, it wasn't just that last action. Literally, it was just a few minutes ago I said that right after the goal, I said I was about to tell you they're not in good shape right now because Dietzen was a little slow. He got a little confused about where to be. He didn't drop all the way into the back line. That created a little bit of rotation. Shaq Moore has to come over a little too far. Kayake is slow to get back, and then when he gets back, he doesn't follow the runner. Just all of a sudden, it was a little defense that I didn't recognize. They've been tight and right the whole time, but it only takes one. The margins are small, and it really is too bad because I think there's a lot of good performance out there tonight that we can talk about. And yet, there's the scoreboard, 2-2, and it's the second time it's happened that in a 5-minute span they lost a 2-goal lead.
And I don't want to ignore those performers. There's 2 specific I want to single out, so you'll each get a player here. Garrett, I wrote down at about the 25-minute mark, this might be the Joaquin Valiente game because he has just been all over the place doing things in the press, in the pass, in the build-up. He almost had a goal on a very nice Peter Musa cross in. He has been everywhere tonight.
I think that's just what he does. I don't think Valiente has had a bad performance in an FC Dallas shirt. Now, it's very early in his FC Dallas career, right? But every time he's on the field, I think he's making small impacts. It's not a big impact every time. He's not doing flashy things
gradual
every time he gets the ball. But he knits things together. He just makes everybody around him better. And I'm so impressed by that. And also, his work off the ball is second to none. He's by far the best presser in this team. He's relentless. He's constantly sprinting at their back line, giving defenders and even the goalkeeper no time to pick passes. It must be awful to play against him as a defender because you just have no time to think. You have no time to pick your pass. He's always in your face. And then when he gets on the ball, he's quality. He just picks the right pass more often than not. It's not going to catch your eye. He's not going to beat 3 guys on his own, but he's just doing the right things at the right time almost every time.
Yeah, but let me add, he's starting to add some of that eye-catching stuff. I mean, that little scoop pass.
Nice flick
and
as well.
And the Musa was great, and I agree. It's I said the same thing, that this is Patrickson Delgado, unfortunately, just sort of shrinking into the background on this team because if you look at the difference, that's the same position they're playing, basically.
Yes.
And if you look at the difference between what Patrickson Delgado, we talked last week, just 14 touches in the first half, couldn't find the game, couldn't connect the lines. That's exactly what Valiente has done in 33 touches tonight so far.
So since Garrett got Joaquin Valiente, Steve, that means you get Christian Kappas, who I think we said last week had a little bit of an off game. We were a little bit surprised at Kappas' performance because he's been pretty strong his entire career. Well, he looks like he's come back with a vengeance tonight because he is also everywhere. He's also breaking off good passes. He ends up with the assist on Musa's second goal. I mean, this is the guy that we saw a lot of last year. He's back tonight.
Yeah, 37 touches, 6 recoveries, 2 defensive contributions. But you're right. It's just his command out there that just stands out. I mean, without seeing any numbers, I could have told you that he was the man in midfield so far. Again, Valiente doing a lot of good work. Kaike doing his thing, but it was Kappas that was leading the charge out there. You know, it's clear as day from here.
His pass for the second goal was excellent as well. He just knew where Musa was going to be, put it in that spot where the goalkeeper can't come out quick enough and the defenders can't get back. It's just an excellent pass.
On one touch.
Exactly.
You know, all of it. It was a really nice sequence. It was Farrington and Kaike sort of creating the turnover, but then they do exactly what they need to do in transition against LA. They don't set up well behind the ball, so you got to attack it fast. They did. Ryan described it well as a sweeping motion. You know, interception, ball goes to the left goes right back in the center. Musa puts it home. It was a terrific transition goal.
When he's on it, Christian Kapps' speed of thought is huge for this team. He just makes decisions quicker than almost anybody else on the field.
I didn't anticipate talking about substitutions when we were up 2-0, but then it happened, so we've got to get there. And I think the guy that I'm kind of wondering about, and Garrett, I'll start with you, is Santi Moreno, because obviously Musa's on a hat trick watch. You're not pulling him. Valiente has been fantastic today. I don't think you can afford to pull him, especially if you're chasing a goal. That might leave Logan Farrington the odd man out. I don't think Logan's had a bad game at all. I think a couple of very odd moments early. I was watching Eric Quill a couple times, and he seemed a little bit unhappy with his second striker. I don't know how long you would let Logan go, because I think he's been fine. But if you're chasing a goal, having a guy like Santi out there alongside Valiente in that high press would be very, very nice.
Well, you mentioned it right there. It's the high press. It really depends on, does Eric Quill want to stick with what he's doing? Because the team was playing quite well, and I think if they continue what they're doing, I think they do win this game over the second 45. But if you want to press higher, and that is what has been causing the Galaxy problems, Santi Moreno is a better presser than Logan Farrington, and he's so decisive in the final third, even in his limited time so far in an FC Dallas shirt. I mean, I think he's going to get at least 30 minutes, and it probably will be at the expense of Logan Farrington.
Yeah, I think there were a couple of minutes when Logan Farrington still held on to the ball a little too long. You know, Eric Quill talks about how you got to let Logan sort of do his thing, but it is a fine line. You know, his thing is sometimes holding onto the ball and making things happen, drawing a foul, beating somebody one-on-one. But if you're not doing that, then what you're doing is losing the ball. So it's a real balance there, a push and pull. And there were a couple of times when I thought he got the ball off his foot in time, and a couple of other times when I thought, okay, you beat the first guy, get rid of it. No, you're going to try to beat the second guy. Okay, well, now get rid of it. Now you've lost it to the third guy.
The other guy I'm thinking about, Steve, is Sebastian Biaga. He picked up a yellow card in the 28th that was probably a soft yellow, a very light yellow, if you want to call it that. You've got Nolan Norris on the sideline if you need to bring him in to play in that back three. But the issue is, you've got Paintsil and Peck, and Norris is a great player, but he's not a fast player. Is that one where maybe you're having to play a little cat and mouse with Craig Vanny when Peck or Paintsil come off? Maybe that's when you can clear Nolan from the runway?
We'll see. I mean, look, Ibiaga isn't a guy that I worry about. I mean, I mentioned that I saw a couple of times where I think he steps into a tackle ordinarily, but he recognizes he can't really do it with the yellow card. I trust him, and I think Garrett Quill trusts him. So I don't think I don't know that you think about that so much. You know, right now you're doing okay defensively. You know, that last 5 minutes notwithstanding, I think you're looking for your subs to make an impact on the other end.
Well, we will see. There's 45 plus to go here from Toyota Stadium. It's FC Dallas 2, LA Galaxy 2. We will take a break. When we come back, Ryan and Steve will get you ready for the second half of action here from Frisco. You're listening to FC Dallas Soccer, presented by Toyota, here on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
It's a moment when I show up, God, I'm saying wow.
Welcome to the world of WinStar, the casino of FC Dallas, where 10,000 electronic games, plus roulette, craps, and blackjack is just the beginning. Get lost in our 2-story luxury spa, rest in one of our vast hotel towers, and catch the biggest names in music and comedy at the spectacular Lucas Oil Live, all just 1 hour north of DFW. So come live in the wow at the world of WinStar.
God, I'm saying wow.
Want to hear something incredible? That's Eleanor. Just 10 hours after being born, Eleanor was airlifted to Children's Health and met by our expert team trained in cardiac and critical care. At 4 days old, she received a stent to help her heart pump blood to the rest of her body. And today, she's a happy, healthy 1-year-old. That's incredible. That's Children's Health. Incredible together.
With the 2026 Toyota Tacoma's all-terrain capability and advanced tech, you can do whatever you want.
Whatever we want?
Yep,
Whatever we want! Like waking up in a tent with zero cell service on purpose.
Or driving down a rocky trail that was never actually a road.
Or going out and doing donuts before we've had breakfast.
Or catching sunrise by the lake. And maybe even a fish if we're lucky.
The 2026 Toyota Tacoma, for every kind of adventure. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See toyota.com for details.
Welcome back for the second half from Toyota Stadium as both teams have made their way out onto the field. Second 45 coming up. If it's anything like the first 45, we have at the very least some good entertainment ahead of us, Steve, because this team seems intent on subjecting us to some form of emotional torture, some form of roller coaster ride week in, week out.
I'm still enjoying it more than last week. Let me just say that.
That is fair as Dallas makes their way into the huddle on the left side. They'll move from left to right, attacking towards the National Soccer Hall of Fame in this second half. And the Galaxy are already out in formation. No changes in terms of personnel either way at the break. It'll be Logan Farrington to get us going in just a moment, awaiting the whistle from Marcus de Oliveira.
I'll tell you what, I thought I'd put the coat away for the year, but if you're watching on the Burncast on YouTube, see the coat on there. It's pretty chilly tonight. I like it.
The Burncast, we need a fire. We need to get the fire going somewhere in the booth. Back underway for the second half. Dallas with a really strong performance, not matched by the result they took into the halftime break. Now they've got to go and get that result in the second half.
I tell you what, I felt pretty good coming into this one about Dallas' chances, and even though that they gave up two right there at a bad time, I still feel pretty good about it because I think they were easily the better team. And I think now going toward the supporters' end, I think you're going to find another goal, I'm pretty sure. You've got to keep LA out as well.
Arguide again called for a foul against Paintsel. How much can Paintsel play in the second half? He has only just made his way back from a hamstring injury for the Galaxy. Played just over 20 minutes on Wednesday in a 3-0 loss against Toluca. I think maybe around 60 minutes for Paintsel in his return to play.
The problem is they'll probably replace him with Marco Royce.
Another high-quality player, although a very different type of threat.
Yeah.
Peck, nice dummy, leaves it for Cuevas. Cuevas ball in behind. Ibiaga able to get in the way, and the shove in the back from Klaus as he was forced to clear it. Clody wasn't quite there in time.
It looked like a little communication problem there.
And there was another nice moment for Peck, who hasn't gotten on the score sheet with a goal. He got an assist on the second, and he's just so clever with his every action in the final third.
I mentioned a while ago, 2024, he had 27 goal contributions.
He's the newcomer of the year. Followed that up with 15 combined goals and assists last season, as everybody in the Galaxy suffered a regression from the championship side. Corner coming, Dietzen blocking the cross from Cuevas. Yeah, this Galaxy side went 16 without a win to start their title defense in 2025. That's long in the rearview mirror, but they're still far from their best, and of course still missing Ricky Puig now for a second straight season. Corner from the far side for Cuevas. Farrington heads it clear, breaks for Cerrillo. Out wide again for Paintsel. Shackmore defending. Closed him down well. Still not cleared though. Back with Paintsel. Kappas can't really afford to dangle a leg there. Just does well to move his feet, force him back. Across for Peck. Peck out to Cuevas on the overlap. And it's into the middle. Sanabria, who scored in the first half, couldn't get a shot away there. Early domination for the Galaxy to start the second 45. Cuevas back to Cerrillo. Everybody back defending for Dallas as Yoshida moves it along for John Nelson. Nelson forced back by Musa, and Dallas can finally step their lines up, get some players back in their usual spots. It's still very mismatched along that back line. Wingbacks are flipped for the moment. Yoshida looking to pick out a ball in behind. Joao Klaus making the run. Collodi quickly off his line, able to come and pick it up. Dietzen didn't really have a hold on where Joao Klaus was making the run off his back. Kappas back for Ibiaga, who's in the middle of the back three right now. Wonder if that might be intentional to try and let Uragide match up with Paintsel in the wide areas. Moore back for Collodi. Goes long. Out to the near side. Dietzen and Nelson challenge for it. It breaks for Musa. Second ball. Yoshida on his back, and Yoshida puts it out for a Dallas throw.
And the problem with that, though, is that would leave Ibiaga to match up with Klaus, and he's a tough character, too.
Musa cross from the near side. Headed up into the air by Cuevas. Musa himself fighting for the second ball. But it's Sanabria who comes away with it. Musa back on it. Along the right side again, bending ball towards the back post. This one is going to force Farrington wide. He retrieves it near the corner flag. Finds Kappas. Central position. Bending ball in, looking for Musa. Yoshida wins the header. Breaks for Dietzen. Nice first touch for Dietzen. 1v1 in the area. Ball towards the back post off the head of Farrington. Not cleared yet. Yoshida finds Sario, who sends it long. Uragide now back in the middle of the back three. Dueling with Klaus in the middle of the field. And Uragide forced to bring Klaus down. And okay. The referee points for a free kick against Joao Klaus. It was really just a car crash.
It was.
And Klaus has stayed down. Not sure if there was really a majority of culpability either way, but Klaus clearly worse for wear.
Well, there was first contact, I think, from Klaus on Uragide. Not sure how much, but then Uragide, oh, I see. So Klaus steps on Uragide first, and then Uragide, knowing that Klaus is about to get behind him, sort of grabs Klaus.
Jumped on his leg.
Yeah, and but I think De Oliveira got that one right, because the first thing that happened was Uragide got his foot stepped on by Klaus.
Well, Klaus getting checked out right now. That may force the Galaxy into a change in their front line. They already had to make a change from the last game. Eric Tommy, who they signed from Kansas City in the offseason, picked up a thigh injury, and he's out, and potentially for the foreseeable future.
If Marco Royce comes in, he'll play as more of a false nine, which they've done before.
They've got a true number 9 in Ruben Ramos Jr., the young 19-year-old forward, but haven't seen a ton of him. Looks like it will be Royce.
And looks like Klaus is in some trouble here. You know,
that's a lot of body weight of Uragide landing on the leg.
Well, yeah. So he grabs his leg to make sure he doesn't get behind him after he gets stepped on, and then you're right, and then he sort of rolls over him as he's grabbing. That's unintentional. The grab was intentional. The rolling over him wasn't.
Well, we're probably planning a Royce in for Paintsel swap. Instead, it looks like it's going to be Royce in for Klaus.
But I think you're right. I think you can't risk, if you're the Galaxy, you can't risk Paintsel much longer.
We saw 5 minutes of second half action before this stoppage, Steve. Any inkling on any adjustments, or who do you feel had the better response coming out from the break?
Well, clearly the Galaxy, tough to say it was a response, or maybe they just sort of had Dallas pinned in for a minute, and Dallas got back out and had a couple of balls ping-ponging around inside the LA goal area. I'd say it's about even.
Klaus now back to his feet.
He's going to need some help coming off. And
looks like the left ankle is the one. It's just really painful for him, as now he's hunched over. Not sure he's even going to be able to make it off the field with help.
Seems pretty clear his night's done.
Yeah, wincing in pain the whole way off the field. Former St. Louis man has run his race tonight. And it's going to be one of the all-time greats of the Bundesliga, Marco Royce, on in his stead.
He looks pretty distraught, but he's putting weight on the leg at least. I hope it's not too bad.
Yeah, off to a great start in life in LA. Joao Klaus beside himself right now with potentially serious injury. Takes a seat on the bench, and Royce enters the match. Just about got his jersey on in time. So he will play as the furthest man forward, at least against the ball. Imagine he'll drop in and try and play make alongside Peck and Paintsill. Off the free kick, it's a direct ball to Musa. Brings it down, finds Johansson. Johansson looking for a way past Nelson. And Nelson puts it out for a Dallas throw. I have liked how Dallas has tried to go quick as soon as the whistle blows after these long restarts. There's often going to be an opportunity in there where the defense just switches off for a moment. And they've tried a couple times now to exploit that. Lining up a long throw now. Ibeagha over the crowd at the near post. Up into the air, Urigide puts it back across. Marcinkowski comes to claim. And Paintsill was off and running, and his goalkeeper just didn't spot him. And Paintsill is frustrated as they play out the other side. Cuevas to Peck, wide on the right.
This is going to give Urigide something different to look at, because he's not going to match up initially with Royce. Royce will drop way off, but then he's got to watch Royce like a hawk, because he'll end up making late runs toward Urigide.
Thinking about the matchup late in the season last year in the playoffs with Thomas Muller.
Yep.
When he played up front for Vancouver. Here's a ball into the feet of Royce. Royce first time ball in behind. Paintsill, all kinds of green grass to run into. Shackmore looking to close him down. Paintsill into the area, chips it past Collodi, but it bends wide. Oh, what an opportunity. Royce with an instant impact. And Paintsill unable to add his second of the night and give the Galaxy the lead.
I mean, it's just a great ball. One touch from the center, right into stride for Paintsill, and Ibeagha is just, he's beaten out there, so he's just got to anticipate that ball coming in and not get drawn quite so far out by Paintsill. Understanding that Paintsill gets the ball out in front of him 50 yards out, he can deal with that, but you just can't let Paintsill get behind you.
I think Shaq took a good angle, but that good angle would have been good against almost any other player in the league. Paintsill just had too much speed.
Well, he did, but you're right, Shaq at least made him hurry.
Farrington comes away from a challenge, holding his head. Galaxy come away with possession. Now here's a ball looking for Peck that is mishit by Justin Hack, and Collodi will retrieve it. Feels like the momentum of the Galaxy's 2 late goals in the first half has in a lot of ways carried over to the second.
Yeah, the other thing is right now Kappas and Kaike are just going to have to be more aware of Royce dropping into that position.
Urigide off the mark with that pass intended for Johansson, straight out of play. And how early does Eric Quill turn to the bench? Not only just to try and make a spark and reignite his team tonight, but also have eyes on Wednesday, Minnesota coming to town. It's a $1 hot dog night. If you want to be in the building, you can head to fcdallstickets.com. One of our only $1 hot dog nights of the season. $3 beers as well, I'm told. Nelson takes the throw back to Yoshida. And across for Garces. Valiente closing him down, chasing him out to the far side. Cuevas will go back for Marcinkowski.
Minnesota will have a short week too, of course. They're ahead of Portland right now at home. Minnesota leads 2-0.
Again, Royce just connecting the play, and it's out in space with Peck on the far side. Peck to Cuevas on the overlap. Cuevas cross blocked by a sliding Lucius Dietzen, and it's out for a corner. Royce causing all kinds of problems in just a couple minutes since entering the game.
Dallas going to have to find a way to reestablish possession, restabilize the game, take control of the game. This is what we sort of expected, LA to have a little bit more possession. Didn't really work out that way in the first half.
Marco Royce now on set piece duties. Goes short. They'll look to combine. Dallas is alert to it. Cuevas with a cross blocked behind for a corner. There's a coming together inside the area. Both players wanting a foul. Referee waves it all away, and we'll do it again.
No big surprise. It was Logan Farrington involved for Dallas.
Royce tracks down the loose second ball.
I believe it was Gabriel Peck on the other end of that skirmish for the Galaxy.
Galaxy players make their runs. Royce raises the arm, now whips it in. Out swinging service over the head of Farrington, allowed to bounce. Yoshida through traffic, deflects, but Collodi able to get back to it. For me, it looked like a pretty high foot from Yoshida as he got the shot away, and Osaze stayed down. Might have taken a cleat to the face.
No, I thought so too. And I mean, Osaze puts his head down a little bit, but he's a tall guy, so he's still got his head down there around 5.5, 6 feet.
Restart plays. We've just about played an hour tonight. If you're just joining us, you missed a very entertaining but simultaneously very frustrating first half from an FC Dallas perspective. Looking to get back in front here. Farrington slips in behind for Musa along the left side. Valiente waits in the middle. Back towards Kappas. Late arriving run. Kappas unable to get the shot away. Dietz's shot blocked up in the air. And Sanabria and Peck combine to work it clear on the far side. Cerrillo up in the air, then goes down and wins a free kick. And now Dietzen getting the no more signal. I don't know if I can remember a foul he's committed in the game.
Unless, again, that's sort of a team persistent infringement, but you're right, he sort of singled Dietzen out. 15 fouls now to 6. FC Dallas with the 15.
Now past the hour mark. We wait for Garces to take the free kick. He goes back to Marcinkowski. Musa puts the pressure on. Garces into Sanabria. Nice first time ball, finds Cuevas. Cuevas behind Shaq Moore for the moment. The front three still ahead of Mauricio Cuevas as he makes the run. Finds Peck wide right. Dietzen defending, looking to return it to Cuevas. Cutback ball, headed up and away by Ibiaga, only as far as Peck, corner of the 18. Brazilian back on it, now finds Sanabria wide. Good combination here from the Galaxy. It's snuffed out by Kayike, and Kayike does well there just to buy a free kick of his own.
Yeah, Sanabria just kind of getting into his back, and then Kayike being smart about it, feeling the contact, going down, knowing that that's his best option.
Collodi will take the free kick from wide on the far side. Goes long. Musa out jumped there by Garces. Still a fight for the second ball. Again, a high foot for Garces, but he got a touch of the ball. And now there's a foot race to it. Yoshida tracked by Valiente, put in an awkward spot. Nelson down the line to Paintsel. Paintsel forced back here by Ibiaga. Now turns in the left back spot for the Galaxy. And another just really soft foul. And you can hear what the fans think about it. Johansson had his arms on Paintsel, and that was his only sin.
So, Ryan, the other thing that's happened here is the Galaxy have gone to 4 in the back. Justin Hack has moved into the midfield. I think that's where the tactical change is allowing the LA Galaxy to have a little bit more control in the middle.
Yoshida goes long. Sanabria beaten to it there by Osaze, but it breaks for Hack. Out to the far side for Peck. Dietzen defending, but he has to watch the run of Cuevas. Cerrillo back out wide for Peck again, seeing a lot more of the ball in the second half. Cerrillo and Hack combining. Flexibility of the former New York homegrown, giving Greg Vanny options without having to turn to his bench in the second half. Over 12 years as a head coach in Major League Soccer for Greg Vanny, leaning on that experience, trying to flip this game on its head tonight. Hack all the way back for Marcinkowski. And Santi Moreno is poised to make his way on the field in just a moment, getting his final instructions now. Dietzen wins the header, but puts it right into a wide open center circle where Hack retrieves it for the Galaxy. And this shape change really forcing Dallas onto the back foot. Very little possession in the second half. Continues with the Galaxy and Peck on the far side. Cerrillo. And between the lines, Sanabria. Cuevas again into Cerrillo, back for Garces. Garces under pressure from Musa, over to Yoshida. Now wide to Nelson, who's got all kinds of time. And the Dallas number 10 is up and ready. Cerrillo, diagonal out to the far side for Peck. All alone for the moment, now closed down by Dietzen. Cuevas goes on the overlap. Peck onto his favored left foot, looking for a lane to shoot. Dietzen keeping up with him there, forcing him back. But now Cuevas is alone on the far side. Runners in the area as Cuevas picks out the cross. Urguide wins the header. Valiente getting himself in trouble on the edge of the box. Shot comes in on the follow-up from Sanabria after Valiente took a heavy touch and then went flying into a tackle. Both he and Peck have stayed down. See, did you get any clear indication as to whether this is going to be a free kick or a goal kick?
No, it's a goal kick. I think De Oliveira played the advantage, and then once the shot comes, that's the advantage.
A handshake between Peck and Valiente as both players are now onto their feet. Moreno will enter this match. We're about to find out for who. It will be Logan Farrington.
So we'll see if FC Dallas makes some kind of shape change, because right now they're outnumbered in the middle, especially as Royce comes deep and drops. They get outnumbered not just 3-2 in there, they get outnumbered 4-2, and it's not a match right now. So now I see Kappas and Kaike talking, so they'll change the shape somehow.
Well, it's two attacking midfielders now supporting Musa up front all on his own. So we've heard Eric Will talk about boxing the midfield, having the 2 6s, the 2 10s, something to that effect here to try and get a foothold back in this game. Hack wins the header from the goal kick. Ibiaga heads it downfield. Valiente looking to combine, gives it away. And Hack with the sombrero flick over the head of Kappas. Kappas got a stray arm and goes down. And I'm glad to see some of the Dallas players taking cues from the Galaxy in the first half and understanding how the referee's playing this game.
And look, there's something to that. I mean, you've got to understand how the game is being refereed on the night, and maybe Dallas is a little slow to figure it out, but they've got it now. Oh my.
Kaike cleared out as he released it by Sanabria, or Hack, sorry.
And Hack, I don't see how he avoids the yellow card there.
Still nobody booked on the Galaxy side. Shaq Morris had plenty of conversations, but he's not proven very persuasive.
Players all making that case. Hack was nowhere close to the ball there. It was well after the ball had been released.
Free kick in the center circle, 67th minute. Kappas out towards Johansson, headed up in the air by Nelson. It's Johansson first to the second ball, and he'll win a throw. Well, it looked like it came off of Nelson quite clearly, but it goes the Galaxy's way instead.
Yeah, I didn't see a big fuss there from Herman Johansson, so maybe he did get the last touch.
Urguide doing well up the right side, combining now with Kaike and Valiente. Combination with Moreno getting involved as well. Maybe tried one pass too many there.
I thought so too.
Going back towards the Galaxy's goal. It's flicked along but headed clear. Kappas brings it down in the middle. Skips past 2 with ease. Here's Christian Kappas lining up a shot from distance, and it's deflected off Garces, out for a corner. Well, we've had a lot of conversations about Christian Kappas, and maybe feeling like his form had faltered a little bit from the player we saw arrive back on home soil in 2025, but he's been back to his best tonight.
Yeah, he's very good in the first half. Hasn't been able to get on the ball a lot in the second half because of that shape change.
Santi Moreno, newly introduced, will take the corner, in-swinger from the far side towards the near post, and that's not a good offering. He'll get a second chance maybe as Valiente sends it back his direction. Bending ball again hits the first man. Frustrating for the Colombian. He'll move it across to the near side. Musa receives it wide on the right. Chipped ahead for Kaique. Now 2 defenders on his case. Back for Musa, first time ball. High in the night sky towards the back post. Knotted down by Ibiaga. Uriguide was out in front, but Narcinkowski comes to make the claim. I was going to say you don't want Musa wide if there's nobody in the box, but the 2 center backs had stayed forward. And that is the 3rd pinpoint cross from Petter Musa tonight. Cap is shielding the back line there, trying to keep it away from Royce. It bounces back towards Peck. Now Peck skips past him. And Moreno with some forwards defending there, just barging into the back of Gabriel Peck.
Another odd choice there by Talavera. The Galaxy chose to play it quick, and then for some reason, Talavera wanted to give him the slower free kick.
Royce and Peck will stand over it.
What they call the ceremonial free kick.
Galaxy like to have the players gather at the back post and then make the run across, inserting themselves between the Dallas players. There's an early ball in behind for Paintsel, brings it down on the chest, looking to turn back heel back for Gabriel Peck, shot blocked. I think it was Dietzen who got in the way. Now Moreno and Valiente looking to lead the counter charge. On the far side, Valiente drops it off from Moreno. Johansson was steaming through the middle. They didn't find him, but Kappas works it out wide here for Uriguide. Uriguide options waiting for him ahead. Turns and finds Kaique in the middle. Valiente a little loose with that one. Turns it over to Justin Hack. And now Royce dribbling with options either way. Puts it in behind for the speed of Paintsel once again. Ibiaga at full sprint, gets back in position. Here's Paintsel inside the 18. Uriguide slides across, makes the block, deflected shot is comfortable for Collodi. And he'll fire it out to Dietzen. Galaxy will make their second change in just a moment. And Paintsel has stayed down, and that is bad news for the Galaxy. I think he was about to be replaced as well. Valiente keeping it moving here in the Galaxy half. Musa back for Shaq Moore. Dallas under no obligation to put the ball out of play. Galaxy momentarily down a man.
So what did
they will put it out of play.
Yeah, what FC Dallas wants to do now is have Valiente and Moreno play back behind Musa, which is great, but Musa has to understand he can't drop in there because all of a sudden he's got 3 guys in a line, which is what happened there. And maybe Musa was just dropping in because he wanted to get the ball and then tell his teammates to play it out.
So we wondered how long Paintsel could go. They pushed him to the 70-minute mark, and now he stayed down, and you think maybe he's re-aggravated something here.
I tell you what, if I'm a Galaxy fan, I got questions to ask of Greg Vanny. You know, I mean, the guy's played 23 minutes over the last really 2 months, and
he's had soft tissue injuries his entire time.
I don't understand how he's let him go 71 minutes tonight.
Well, he will be replaced now by Harbor Miller, who I thought actually might get the start, the young Galaxy homegrown, and now in place of the designated player. A lot of conversations on the Dallas side right now, both between players on the field, the coaching staff, looking for answers.
Well, they've got about 20 minutes to find the game winner, potential game winner. 20 minutes plus, I think, significant injury time, but it's also 20 minutes that they've got to be a little bit better about identifying Marco Royce and making sure that he doesn't start running the game here, because the LA Galaxy have come up with a couple of opportunities of their own.
Kappas out to Dietzen. Dietzen looking for the ball in behind from Moreno. Breaks fortunately for him. Puts it in behind now for Valiente. In along the left side. Joaquin Valiente towards the near post. Deflects wide for a corner.
Nice job there by Moreno. He's going to be on the corner kick again. He's just got to hit a better delivery here.
First time he had 2 chances at it. Hit the first man both times. Looking for something better here. Santi Moreno, in-swinger, more air underneath this one, and it's into the mix, not cleared. Eventually hooked away and behind for a corner, awkwardly by Cuevas. Now Valiente will come across to take from the near side. Much better service that time from Moreno. Valiente already 3 assists to his name. Should have had a 4th in the first half tonight. Ruled out for offside. Whipped in again towards the near post, and there's a chance on the volley now through traffic. Oh, it's Kaike! He restores the Dallas lead. Great service, attacking the first ball, and it falls for the pit bull to blast it home. And now the flag goes up belatedly.
Well, maybe there was somebody screening the goalkeeper. There's a conversation going on right now. That is too bad. This is the only thing I can figure out. We're going to watch it again here. As the first ball gets cleared. Oh, there's somebody on the ground. I think it's Urguide. Does it bounce off of him?
We're going to look now. Urguide had the first swing at it. So he's
in an offside position, and I think the ball might have bounced off of him.
Oh. Wow. That is unfortunate.
Yeah, it's technically the right call.
It really had no impact on the play, but Dallas now 2 goals ruled out for offside. One of them completely erroneously in the first half. This one more correctly, but more unfortunately perhaps at the same time.
Literally, Urguide is laying on the ground. I think that ball's going in anyway, but it does sort of hit off at the back of his calf.
Oh, here's a chance now. Peter Musa in behind, set up by Valiente. Peter Musa at full speed. Garces, though, just a little bit quicker. Came across, closed down the angle, forced him wide. Musa now checks back to his left foot. Finds Kappas, forced back, though, and the attack loses momentum. Again, another quick restart, another moment where Dallas seized the opportunity. And if anybody besides Emiro Garces was making that recovery run, I think Musa has another 1v1 opportunity. Garces now limping, though. Keep an eye on that. Shaq Moore driving up the left side. Wide for Dietzen. Dietzen looking to return it to Moore. Those two not on the same page. Cerrillo forced to put it out for a throw, and Garces has now gone down, and he's got an issue.
You wonder if he had a little contact there with Musa as he went in for that challenge.
He's not holding as if it's a sort of a tissue pulled up cramp or strain, more of a rubbing it as if it was physical pain.
Well, this will be it for subs for the Galaxy if they have to make one here.
Center back option on the bench would be Chris Rindolph, who hasn't played at all this season. They could put Hack back in there. Garces now back to his feet. Maybe just a dead leg in that collision with Musa. Dallas go quick from the throw. Moreno able to turn. Bending ball in, looking for Valiente. It had some nice movement on it. Yoshida heads it clear. Musa called for a little push in the back. And there's another change being readied for the Galaxy. And the fans really starting to voice their displeasure towards the referee on the night.
Well, it's getting a little closer, at least the gap. It's now 18-9. LA Galaxy called for 9 fouls.
I think it's Elijah Winder set to come in this game next for the Galaxy. Morsikowski taking plenty of time over the restart, eventually sends it long. Urguide gets the first contact. Peck challenging for the second ball. Harbor Miller, first touch for him. Galaxy work it to the near side. John Nelson. Would have been Dallas's first corner kick goal of the season. Still looking for one. Yoshida alone in the center circle. It is Winder set to enter this game next on the Galaxy side, and looks like a couple of changes coming for Dallas as well. Nolan Norris and Ron Benjamin called over.
So the way Dallas is playing right now, that two attacking 10s that sit behind Petar Musa, they sort of widen out on defense and it settles into a 5-4-1. Kaike and Kappas for the moment still in the middle.
Nice touch off a Dallas player for a throw on the far side. We're approaching the 80th. Still knotted up at 2. All the scoring in the first half. As Garces unable to continue, another injury substitution. All of the substitutions have been necessitated on the Galaxy side tonight by injury. So you think Winder comes into midfield, Hack back into center back. He's played mostly in a back 3, not really nearly as comfortable in a back 4. And he's got a big responsibility by the name of Petar Musa to deal with the rest of the way.
Meanwhile, Dallas still preparing the other subs you just mentioned.
It'll be a first time off the bench as a substitute this season for Nolan Norris. He's, of course, had the last 4 starts. Ron Benjamin, who's exclusively been a substitute off the bench this season.
I think Dietzen would be one of the replacements. Or one of the guys coming out, rather.
Galaxy restart after another foul called in midfield. Over to Nelson. This front line for Dallas still with legs in the press. Haven't forced as many turnovers as we saw in the first half. Nelson, heavy touch, showed too much of it to Kaik. And it's actually Johansson who's called for a foul against Harper Miller for a little jockeying for position off the ball. Or maybe the moment now for the Dallas changes. So Ebiaga replaced by Norris. Ebiaga having been booked in the first half. Norris goes across the left center back. Dietzen comes off. Replaced by Benjamin. We'll see who heads out to the left side now. Looks like it's just a back 4. 4-3-3 for Eric Quill. For the first time in 2026, he goes to a different shape.
And Herman Johansson drops into right back.
And Norris draws the big assignment of Gabriel Peck on the far side. Nelson, ball in the midfield where Dallas now has an extra man in Osaze Arguide, adding even further reinforcements onto it. Gets it wide for Musa. Musa chipped ball looking for Valiente, just under hit it. Fight for the second ball. Eventually Kappas brings it down, lifts it over the head of Miller. Dallas players juggling it over the young LA homegrown. Musa all the way back for Shaq Moore. Johansson down the line. And Steve, that same problem you mentioned with Musa not staying high, giving Dallas really nowhere to play to. The yellow card for Herman Johansson for just another ticky-tack soft foul.
Yeah, no, I don't agree. Don't disagree. It was a ticky-tack soft foul. The yellow card was kicking the ball away.
The frustration felt on the field as well. It's really broken up the flow of the game in the second half. Really, throughout the entire game.
So it's not really a, well, I'll explain in a minute.
Here's Harper Miller driving up the left center channel, gets it wide for John Nelson on the overlap. Nelson's ball deflected off Johansson. Valiente, good work there, but can't keep it under pressure from Winder. It's at the top of the Dallas box. Benjamin with an important touch. Arguide skates past the challenge to find Musa. Musa holding off 2 players. And Dallas players, maybe just because they aren't falling to the ground and writhing in pain, aren't getting these foul calls that the Galaxy have been getting all night. Musa the latest to be frustrated with the official.
And yeah, and I get it, but on the other hand, you said it a while ago. At some point, you got to feel the contact, and you know how the game's being officiated. Moose is just big and strong, and he doesn't like going down, which I respect. Unfortunately, sometimes we know what happens in the game. You get punished for that.
Johansson past Harper Miller, finds Valiente in the middle. Valiente nowhere to really go, eventually back for the sweep.
So you call it a 4-3-3, but Valiente is sort of a right wing, but not really, as Dallas just gives that ball away. Moreno is sort of a left wing, but not really. It's an odd 4-3-3.
I think Moreno is a pretty natural fit out there. Valiente actually played this position for Barcelona in Ecuador last season, but he does like to come inside and combine. Maybe leaving space for Johansson to drive forward from right back.
And then in the midfield triangle, it's Benjamin and Kaike sitting deep, and Kappas as the spear of the triangle.
Kalodi long, Yoshida wins the header. Uragide looking for the header to Shaq Moore, gives it away to Sanabria. Sanabria, though, beaten to it by Santi Moreno. Some good defensive work there. Kaike in the middle, back to Moreno. Moreno driving at the back line, gets it wide for Kappas. Kappas looking for Musa at the top of the box, easily picked off that time by Cerrillo. Kaike, great work again. Keeps the pressure on, wins it off of Harper Miller, in along the right side, deflected cross, headed away by Yoshida. Harper Miller under pressure from 3 Dallas players, manages to keep possession. Good work there for the young Galaxy homegrown.
I thought Greg Vanny was going to join him there. I mean, Eric Quill was going to join him there for a minute. He was so animated on the sideline and ran toward the sideline. I thought he was going to go in there and try to be the 4th man in the scrum.
So 5 minutes plus stoppage time to play. We had 5 minutes added on in the first half, but we also had 4 goals and a couple of VAR checks. I don't think it'll be that high.
I'm not sure. Substitutions, injuries, it might be. Maybe even more.
Diagonal switch to the far side for Peck. Dribbles backwards now, faces up Santi Moreno. Cerrillo hits the switch, this time out to Miller on the near side. Johansson defending, recently booked. Harper Miller creates some space. Johansson goes to ground to block it. Second effort is comfortable for Kalodi. And as he sprinted to try and start a counter, nobody was really forward. Instead he rolls it out short to Musa. Again, has the attentions of Cerrillo all over him. Sorry, Winder. Musa, I think, is clearly tired in this game and frustrated as the second half is worn on. Just not as effective as he was at his lethal best in the first half. Cerrillo out to Peck. Norris closes him down. Over to Cerrillo. Galaxy just controlling this game through possession at the moment.
I mean, possession swung in such a big way in the second half.
Winder, first time ball into the forward's feet. Now it's with Peck. Peck on the turn, corner of the 18. Norris goes in for the challenge. Here's a cross low in towards Royce. Eventually hooked away by Norris. Risky attempt there. Now here goes Moreno the other way. Moreno up front all on his own, waiting for Musa. Driving from outside to in, left to right. Moreno in behind for Peter Musa. John Nelson at full stretch. Gets back in time.
Santi Moreno out there making things happen right now.
Will he have enough time to make an impact and find a winner? Here's Moreno again, receives it from the throw. Wide for Norris. Finds Moreno, pocket of space off the left. Splits 2, splits 3. Moreno into the 18, looking for Musa. Maybe should have pulled the trigger. Kaike keeps it alive. Bouncing ball top of the box. Eventually, Winder sends it clear. Shaq Moore and Marco Royce dueling for possession. Eventually, it's Benjamin to get it wide for Johansson. Johansson left it a little bit short, now trying to clean up the mess, but it's still Harper Miller. Eventually, Johansson cannons it off the young Galaxy winger, out for a throw. And the extra ball not quick to emerge, as Johansson wanted. Moore over to Norris. Moreno finds Benjamin. Benjamin keeps it moving over to Osaze. 89th minute now. Valiente dropping deep, head up, looking for options, puts it over the top for Musa. Cuevas loses his footing and the flag goes up.
Well, Moose has been important in the 2 goals, but several times tonight he's just a little slow to get back on the other side of the line, and that it happened again there.
Marcinkowski goes long as we're headed towards the final minute of the 90. Norris wins the header. Moreno will watch it over the line after it hits Sanabria. Kayike to Benjamin.
Kayike not the biggest guy, but he's been really good tonight, and his body positioning and just being strong on the ball. As I said, as he gives the ball away.
As soon as you started talking, I knew what was coming. But good work from Johansson. Quickly onto it. Now Kayike forward finds Kappas. Kappas wide for Herman Johansson. Valiente goes on the overlap. Cut back for Kappas. Valiente first time ball forward. Here's Johansson looking for options. Johansson into the 18 along the right side. Musa nowhere to be seen, just lurking at the back post. The cross was blocked. Good work though. Valiente wins it back now to the byline. It's Johansson. Johansson's cross deflected up in the air. Petter Musa with a pretty blatant shove that time. And Justin Hack more than happy to go down, and the pressure breaks. So we head into 8 minutes added on. Still plenty of time to find a winning goal.
You're going to find opportunities, Ryan. I mean, at this point, as good as they were in the first half, they've only had 9 shots all night.
Now Johansson's gone down. It's interesting. We've seen 3 Galaxy players injured on the night, and a couple of players dealing with cramp, and it's not a warm night. This is not a Frisco special. It's an unseasonably cool evening.
No, it's been a pretty physical game. Sam Sarver about to check in, but it needs to happen quick.
Well, there's a player that can bring some fire off the bench. He's going to play his part in stoppage time. I'm sure the referee will really only start the 8 minutes when we resume play, I would hope. Concerned with Johansson with 3 games in 8 days. I hope it's just a cramp for the Swede. He was holding his calf, I think, on the left leg.
Dallas wants 2 changes here.
We're going to see an MLS debut. Nicholas Simmons up off the bench. Trying to bring some extra firepower, the first-round draft pick for Dallas out of the University of Virginia. Eric Quill not happy with a point at home for a 2nd straight game. He wants all 3. So Johansson will be replaced. Sarver on at right back. It's a true right back. It's not a wing back spot for Sam Sarver here. And Valiente is off for Nick Simmons. Simmons, 6'4", big frame, scored plenty of goals at the college level. And he's going to go up front alongside Musa for what should be 8 minutes added on here. Like some kind of diamond in the middle right now for Eric Quill. 2-striker front. Marcinkowski goes long. Kayike wins the header over the much taller Elijah Winder. Then Sarver fouled by Harper Miller. Quickly into the action, Sam Sarver. Dallas moves along the back line. Fireworks in the first half. Been much more muted for both teams here in the second 45. Switching ball from Moreno. Sarver brings it down. Back heel into the path of Kayike. Finds Benjamin centrally. Sarver receiving it wide. First time ball through the legs of Nelson. Kayike slips it in behind for Kappas. Inside the 18, 3 around him. breaks back out for the Brazilian. Set up for Sarver. First time ball whipped in. It's a good one. Musa at the back post couldn't turn it towards goal. Great service from Sarver.
Yeah, first time ball hit well along the right side. I think it sort of surprised Musa. Otherwise, I think he might have been able to jump in front of Justin Hack.
Yeah, he was looking for the flighted ball, wasn't he, towards the back post, and ultimately it was still Musa that got the contact. But
yeah.
Hack was in the way. His positioning did just enough. We've played almost 4 minutes, but really we've only played 2 of those 4. I think we're going to probably hit around 100. Simmons doing some good work in the press. Appealing for the throw, but they give it to Los Angeles. Can you create one more chance for Musa for a hat trick and for a late game winner?
You really liked Dallas to get a goal in the second half, but the shape change and then the change for Marco Royce really allowed the Galaxy to control most of the second half. Still a chance.
Uriguide nods it back to Collodi, then gets it back quickly. Down the line for Kaique. First time ball for Sarver. Sarver puts it in behind. I think Simmons went early, but the flag stays down for now. Nick Simmons cuts back, finds Sarver. Another first time ball. It's another good cross. And then the flag does go up way late. Don't think that was really needed when it was right in front of the referee's assistant. But Sarver, we've seen him bring a spark to games in the past.
He's an agent of chaos, change agent. He can bring a spark.
Marcinkowski sends everybody into the Dallas half and launches it long. Sarver wins the header over Miller, sends it down the line, but it's going to roll out. Eric Quill calling for his team to come put the pressure on. John Nelson looking for an option. Eventually goes down the line looking for Royce. Uriguide and Sarver win it back from the German. Dallas goes in search of a winning goal. Benjamin on the turn finds Kappas. Looks like he's going to go the distance here. Shaq Moore lifts it over the top, looking for the run of Musa. Musa and Hack challenging forward. It breaks for Moreno. Santi Moreno looking for a pass into the 18. Left it behind Kaique, now going the other way. It's a foot race between Uriguide and Marco Royce, who's up there all on his own. Knew he was going to lose the foot race. Tried to find a teammate. Around 4 minutes still to play, we think. Moreno now wide right into the feet of Simmons. Simmons looking to turn, finds Kaique. Looks for the run of Musa in behind. It's a decent ball headed down by Hack and hooked clear by Cerrillo. All the pressure right now going towards Marcinkowski and net. Can they get that one good look? Here's Simmons again, skirting the offside line to the byline, cutback ball. This time the flag stayed down.
Found the lane, found the cutback, didn't get quite enough on it though. Couldn't beat the first defender.
This time it's Norris to snuff out any potential counter. Wide for Sarver. Kaique turning away from Winder.
Kaique's had a nice night.
Uriguide into the feet of Simmons, and now Uriguide joins the front line. Back for Kaique. Simmons. Wide for Sarver. Gets it back again. Now it's going to keep it moving here through Kaique, who thought he had the go-ahead goal. Wiped off for a very slight touch off of Osaze Uriguide, prone on the ground in an offside position. Here's Royce throwing a shoulder and giving away a free kick.
Dallas got stuck on the right side that time. They needed a big switch.
Kaique gives the ball a kiss, and now he's going to address it. They'll go short, though, instead. Shaq Moore spotting an opportunity here, bending a ball in to a dangerous area. It's Petter Musa, who won the header, but couldn't knot it on frame. And now we've hit 8 minutes, and we're at the referee's mercy the rest of the way. Such a strange game. Marcinkowski wouldn't mind hearing the final whistle here. The Galaxy and an even more congested schedule coming to a place where Dallas hasn't lost in over 10 games going back to last season. Be a good point for them coming from 2 goals down. Kappas up to Musa towards Simmons. Aragide wide for Sarver. And nice sliding tackle there from Miller. I think he did knock it off Sarver last. And these exhausted Galaxy players taking every second afforded to them in these final minutes. Nelson throws it down the line. Kappas wins the header. Up in the air again, then Winder. Aragide hooks it clear. Nelson up into the air. Moreno challenging for it. Nobody with real clear possession. It's put in behind, looking for Royce. Royce nudges off Shaq more, but Shaq gets back to it. So one more attack in this. Aragide finds Kappas in the middle. Kappas ahead for Kayike. They're working through tight spaces here. Benjamin keeps it moving out to Norris on the far side. And now Moreno. Moreno lifts it in behind. You spot the run of Petar Musa. Oh, it's a heavy touch. Oh, it was the moment. Dropped on a dime by Santi Moreno.
I think he might have got caught in 2 minds because he could have brought the ball down and tried to take a shot, or he could have laid it off for the unrunning Benjamin. He didn't really do either one.
Well, all 4 goals in the first half. Dallas dominating for 40, throwing away that lead in the final 5 minutes of the first half and not finding a way to a winner. And it's 2 straight draws here at Toyota Stadium. Games you thought that they could and maybe should win come away with a solitary point ahead of the final game of the homestand against Minnesota on Wednesday. Well, we thank you so much for joining us tonight on the FC Dallas Radio Network. Stick with us for post-game coverage as this one finishes FC Dallas 2 and the Los Angeles Galaxy 2. Petar Musa with a first-half brace puts him out in front in the Golden Boot race, but Dallas held once again at home. You've been listening to FC Dallas Soccer, presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
At Toyota, we don't just build trucks. We build something that's meant to last. That's why the 2026 Tundra is built to tough it out and to take it easy. Built to carry tradition and to make new ones. Built stronger, built louder, built here. The 2026 Toyota Tundra. Built in Texas, driven everywhere. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
This is Logan Farrington, striker for FC Dallas. Behind every goal, there's a team you don't always see. The ones keeping everything running, secure, connected, ready. That's General Informatics. From cybersecurity to smarter IT solutions, General Informatics powers FC Dallas with advanced technology support so we can stay focused on the game. General Informatics. Complex IT made simple.
After over 100 minutes at Toyota Stadium, its honors even again as FC Dallas and the LA Galaxy draw at 2 tonight in the second game of Dallas's 3-game homestand here at Toyota Stadium. Hello, everybody. It is the FC Dallas postgame show brought to you tonight by your local Toyota dealer, Toyota. Let's go places. Also brought to you this evening by UMB Bank. See how UMB can help you achieve your business goals. I'm your host, Sam Hale. I'll be joined in just a moment by the voices of tonight's contest, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis. But let's start with your postgame highlights. And they started in the 7th minute when, once again, the Moose got loose.
Johansson defending Paintsel. on the throw. Valiente back helping out, but here's Paintsel near the corner flag, dancing on the ball, cutting back, but Valiente strong in the tackle, and he'll send it long over the head of Musa to chase. Yoshida gets this one wrong. Musa in behind now, all alone. Musa against Marcinkowski. Petter Musa always going to score from there. It's the dream start Dallas desired. It's 1-0 early on here at Toyota Stadium.
Musa's 8th goal of the season made it 1-0 Dallas in the 7th minute. And then just over 30 minutes later, he decided if 1 is good, why not 2?
Here's Kappas again, winning it back in the middle, off of Peck. Farrington through the legs of Sanabria, now driving through the middle. And along the left side, Kappas, ball towards the back post. It's Musa again. And it's 9 already.
9th goal of the season for Petter Musa in the 38th minute. That made it 2-0 Dallas at that point. But then Lucas Sanabria and Joseph Paintsel scored in the 43rd and then the 45th plus 3rd minute. And that made it 2-2 at halftime. That was the score as Dallas nor LA Galaxy could find the winner in the second half. Let's get you tonight's post-game stats. They are brought to you by UMB Bank. Possessions have gone the way of the Galaxy, 54-46. 11 shots for Dallas, 5 of those on target. 9 shots for the Galaxy, 5 of those on target as well. 4 corners for Dallas, 3 for the visitors. You had Dallas offside 6 times, Galaxy not at all. 3 saves apiece for Michael Colodi and JT Marcinkowski. 22 fouls for Dallas, 2 yellow cards on the evening. 11 fouls for the Galaxy, no yellow cards or bookings of any kind for the visitors. And let's bring in the voices of tonight's contest. It's Ryan Figert, it's Steve Davis. And, man, this is a fascinating game. There's a lot I think we could get to, but we try to keep this one like a pizza in the 90s, under 30 minutes or less. So, Ryan, I'll start here with you. Last week, I felt like Dallas was a little bit lucky to get a point because they didn't play very well against a St. Louis team that is showing a little bit better than we expected. This week, I almost feel a little bit more disappointed in the overall outcome because I think Dallas played better, but they're coming away with yet just 1 point against a team that I think for at least 45 minutes, they largely outplayed.
Yeah, I think not even the expected goals, not even the shots will really tell the full story of this one because ultimately, and we'll just say it now at the start of the show and we'll move past it, Dallas scored 3 goals tonight, and they should have had a hat trick from Musa in the first half. The goal was onside. The video evidence is very clear, in my opinion, and you can find screenshots wherever.
Screenshots are sold.
Yeah, wherever screenshots can be found, because I think Dallas fans are going to feel really aggrieved that not only did that first half not net a positive result, they threw it away in those final 5 minutes, but they should have already been clear. And I think if they're 3 goals up, the Galaxy don't have the fight in them coming off of a 3-goal defeat at home, coming off of another Wednesday game. They just don't have it in them, and that puts the game to bed, and it's a totally different conversation. And it's unfortunate that, you know, the whole point of video assistant referee is to catch mistakes like that. And it was, as Garrett said on the halftime show, an understandable mistake because Musa found himself so wide open and behind that, you know, you put the flag up there. But that's the rule of the VAR, and they got it wrong tonight. So, putting that aside, Dallas also scores in the second half. Kaique shot through traffic, hits Uragide, who had just, you know, tussled for the first ball, knocked it down. And if it doesn't brush off him on the way into the net, again, it's another conversation. So these moments that don't count on the shot total, they don't count on the chances created or the expected goals, are really what I'm going to remember this game for. It's I guess you could say it's missed opportunities, but the ball ends up in the net, and it's really, really bad luck that Dallas doesn't come away with a win in this game. Were they perfect? No. I think particularly, you know, from the spell of the 40th minute through the 60th to 70th minute, Galaxy made adjustments, and they outplayed FC Dallas in large portions, kept the ball well, added that extra man in midfield, and it worked well. And to Greg Vanney's credit, he changed the game in that way. But then you tip the scales back the other direction. You get the goal disallowed, and some of the subs making a really strong impact. It feels like a performance that 9 times out of 10 you put that up, especially at home, you're walking away with 3 points, and unfortunately this was the 10th.
Yeah, I would say the charitable way to look at this is that Dallas is a little unlucky tonight. Because there's a lot of really good performances out there. Really, the Galaxy only had, in the first half, they had a couple of good opportunities, and they were opportunistic with them. The bigger picture, the 35,000-foot view, I think, is that, and the less charitable way to look at it, is that Dallas is still missing a little bit of an edge right now. I think that they're missing the edge in that killer instinct. Twice now, look, there's no hiding from this. twice they have allowed 2-goal leads to get away from them at home. That's just not good enough. So that's the first thing. And what's happened then is that now Dallas are sort of leaking away these points at home. Six games at home now. 2 wins, no losses. That's good. 2 wins, 4 draws though. So you're sort of seeing the leaking away of points there. Last year at home, they were just washing away the points, right? So they're better, and they've made the improvement, but I do see that missing edge because, at one point, I think it's the 82nd minute, I looked down, they have 9 shots at home. Not quite good enough against the LA Galaxy. So, again, it's just a little bit of an edge missing. I don't think they're that far away, which is why they haven't lost at home. Last year, just like we said last week at St. Louis, I think last year they might even lose this game because they don't score 2 and, they don't keep the pressure on for the last 15 minutes. But I think the other place they missed that edge was when they lost control of the game for about, as Ryan just said, 20 to 25 minutes after the break when the LA Galaxy shifts out of that 3-4-3 they started in, or really a 5-2-3. 5 in the back. They ship it into a 4 in the back and 4-3-3. Add the extra man in midfield, and they're just running the game then. Whereas Dallas ran the game in the first half of the midfield, now it's the LA Galaxy running the game in the second half. And again, missing edge. They've got to see that, make the adjustment immediately, figure it out, or make the Galaxy pay. Figure out, well, okay, where do they take a man from? Out wide. Let's make them pay out there. So. Just a little something still missing for Dallas.
Yeah, and the change that Steve is referencing, João Klaus comes out after a heavy collision. Looks like he had some sort of ankle issue. We hope he gets healthy soon because it did not look good for the big former St. Louis man. That brings in Marco Royce, and Royce immediately comes in and starts really running the game from there. I do want to get to that, but I think, Steve, your overarching point there before we get to the nitty-gritty here is incredibly important because I think it's extremely accurate. I think this is a game that last year Dallas loses because they lack a certain quality. And I think we're seeing the progression of a team last year that was average but tenacious. They were, better than they were in 24. They could hang with you all the time, but they didn't have the quality. I think this year they've improved to a good team that is still learning how to be great because I think of like last night's game, Vancouver versus Kansas City. Vancouver's the home team. What do? They go out there and they just take care of business against a very mediocre, if not just flat-out bad, Kansas City side. And that's a team that I think you can look at as great. And I think Dallas is on the path there. But I think tonight and last week are good examples of these are the growing pains. These are the moments that you've got to look back on and go, okay, are we content to be good or are we going to be great? And we won't know that for many, many games. But these are the moments to put a pin in and go, this is where you are in the journey. And then when we look back in 15, 20, 25 games to see how you've grown from it. I think that was a very good point you made there, Steve.
Yeah, I think it comes, and I think you're spot on with that. I think it comes down to 2 things. It's when you're leading, how do you control the game? And Dallas was pushing for a 3rd goal, and I think that's credit to them. I think that's the style of play they want to have. They want to always be going for that 3rd goal. But when you concede a deflected shot from the top of the box out of nothing, can you make sure you get that lead to halftime? And now this is 2 times this season that they've been unable to do that. And that's not something that winners do. They get that lead to halftime. Good teams get that lead to halftime. You're going to concede deflected long shots. That's going to happen. But it's what is your response? And their response was to get a little bit disorganized, discombobulated. You lost Joseph Paintsel, the one man really alongside Gabriel Peck in the lineup. You just can't lose. You allow them to combine. And in a moment, all of the work that you've done is thrown out the window, and it's 2-2, and we've got to go again in the second half. The other area of the game where I think they can truly go from good or aspiring to great is, can you go get that winning goal? We've seen them do it once this season, and it's the same game that I've already referenced. It was Houston with Musa getting the back post tap in. He had 2 chances tonight in stoppage time, unable to take them. They create 5 big chances on the night, and I'd have to go back and look. That may be a season high. I mean, that stat is hard to come by. I think depending on which provider you look at, it's usually a chance worth 0.35 XG or more. And so they created the chances tonight, but they didn't have the killer instinct. And even when it fell to Musa off a really nice ball in from Santi Moreno, he just took a heavy touch. I think Musa looked exhausted towards the end of this game.
I agree.
And that's concerning for me because of the games coming up. Because is he going to be ready to start and play again on Wednesday and then start and play again in Seattle next Saturday? That's a concern. But ultimately, there's 2 phases of the game where Dallas can go from this aspirational good team that they are now to a real contender, and that's playing with the lead, and that is finding the way to win late in the game against a team that you should beat. They've shown us that they can do the second one once this season, but now it's getting to be a concerning pattern, throwing away those first half leads. They've got to take pride in the work that they've done. They've put 40 fantastic minutes, some of the best soccer we've seen them play all season, particularly on that second goal, a beautiful sweeping move. Players like Kappas and Ka'ike back to their best, and then you just have to take pride in that work and not throw it away like they did. Conceding one is, it can happen, and it's fair enough.
Especially
but you can't concede
ball.
the second one. You can't concede the second one there, and you can't get torn apart like that by the two players that the entire defensive game plan would have been built around in Peck and Painsel.
Yeah, the first one, deflected ball, okay. But then they really got pulled apart unnecessarily on that second goal. The other little place they're missing the edge, or you could also say missing detail work. Also, another way to say missing an edge. Offside 6 times tonight.
Yeah.
And I think that's a little bit of Better Musa being a little
Two
tired.
of those were completely incorrect.
One was correct technically.
No, I'm saying that there was the chipped ball. There were 2 chipped balls in the first half.
That's right.
Both were onside that were called offside.
Yeah,
so I'm not going
right.
to put that down to them, to be honest.
Right.
I think the linesman
had
a rough day.
There were 2 or 3 others. Well, there was exactly 3 others, I think, where it was just somebody just not getting back on the other side of the line in time. Yeah. And that's one of the things you have to clean up a little bit. And it's too bad because there really were a lot of good performances. I mean, just to turn this around a little bit, guys, I think if Eric Quill is honest, he can tell us all he wants about, competition and training, and he wants to see the dogs, who's the dog during the week. I think we're seeing the players that are coming to the front of this of the pecking order here. One of them is Valiente.
Yes.
I think he was great tonight. 3 chances created. He's a pressing beast, as we know. And the other one, I think they're just going to have to find ways to get him on the field, and it might be at Logan Farrington's expense. I'm not sure, but Santi Marino. I mean, he plays 23 minutes tonight. He gets 27 touches. He's got 0.3 expected assists. That may not sound like a lot, but it actually is, especially in just 23 minutes.
Considering he did not have an assist, that's a lot of assists.
Every time he gets the ball, he's beating a defender. He's finding a passing lane. He looks very composed on the ball. He's moving the ball forward. He's finding the spaces to receive the ball. So I think they're just going to have to find a way to find him a few more minutes, and it might be at Logan Farrington's expense, or maybe Farrington's a guy that needs a little bit of that. He got a little comfortable in the starting role because it wasn't great last week, and he was a little bit better tonight. But I think those two have shown enough for me, and probably for Eric Quill too, to justify that they've got to be starters.
I think just some really encouraging midfield performances too. I think Ka'ike and Kappas, this was the duo that they built the team around last season, and they were back to that level. In the absence of Ramiro tonight, they stepped up big time. Love to see Kappas' just all-around game, all over the field. That sloppiness that had sort of plagued him the last few weeks was gone. He was very tight with his passing, and he also creates the goal with a beautiful assist. Ka'ike was a pressing demon as he is at his best, and was just so actually secure on the ball, compared to what we're used to seeing from him. We're used to seeing 5, 6, 7 times in a game he'll give it away or lose possession in the middle. Maybe that was 2 or 3 tonight, and he just cleaned up his game a little bit and also added something going forward. And he's unlucky that his goal happened to hit Osaze on the way through. Otherwise, he's probably man of the match, and he's wearing a cowboy hat, and this whole thing has a different feel to it. But I think what was really interesting to me is Eric Quill, not trailing in the game, decides, you know what, I'm going to go to 4 at the back. I'm going to change the shape in response maybe to a little bit of what the Galaxy were doing. I'm going to throw Sam Sarver as a true right back, not at all any position he's played at this level, or probably any level, and throw Nick Simmons into the game, a player who he's told us he has a lot of belief in, a young striker that's still developing. So I think he really went for it, but he sort of showed us another path forward tactically that I think is interesting and solves the problem that right now is just there's no left wing back. And with all due respect to Dietzen, who's trying his best, it's not his position. He's more effective as a winger, particularly on the right, cutting in on his left. there's no left wing back in this team right now in the absence of Bernard Kamungo. Do you consider going to 4 at the back, playing Nolan Norris as a true left back, and that solves some of your problems in terms of who do you want to get on the field, in the attacking areas? Now, does it maybe destabilize you defensively a little bit? Perhaps, but you're not great defensively right now anyway. You're not hanging your hat on 1s and 0s defensively. If you can get a Valiente and a Moreno and a Musa and a Farrington on the field, and that means playing Nolan at traditional left back where he's done fine in the past, I think it's a potential route forward. I don't know if they're going to make changes that drastic now. It's not like the sky is falling, and I think we should have perspective about that. But maybe, at home against Minnesota, we see them try something a little bit different and get a Benjamin a start or a Valiente a start in there alongside Moreno and shift to a back 4. I think Osaze is performed at a level, and even Shaq Moore playing in a back 4 tonight, something he's probably never done, play as a center back in a back 4. Looked up for it, had a good awareness of the field around him, good connection with his teammates, and just a good feel for it. I think you've got 3, if you make that change to where Nolan is playing left back, you've got 3 good options for the 2 center back spots. Obviously, Osaze is going to be one of those. And then you've got, if you want to move Shaq to his traditional right back spot, you can do that. If you want to play Herman there, you can do that. I think there's something interesting there, and we may not see it consistently. We may continue to stick with the 3 center backs, but I think it's at least worth exploring because right now it feels like, we saw a chart that showed where Dallas attacked, and it was 50% down the right side. And it's just showing me that Dietzen is not effective. And if he's not effective going forward, when you think of him as an attacking player, then he's really not giving you a lot. And I think maybe shifting the shape could help in the interim until Bernard Kamun goes back.
Yeah, you might be right. It's an intriguing idea. The issue there, Ryan, is you really haven't solved your problem of a left-sided stretcher, a left-sided attacker who can stretch the field on that side. I think what you're envisioning there is sort of something that ends up being more like a box in the midfield and something that's really sort of central attack heavy, right-sided attack heavy. But in that case, you need somebody on the left side, a left back that can really bomb up and down and provide width on that side. And that's not really Nolan Norris. I'm not saying it's not worth a try because I am sort of intrigued by that. Because you just don't have a guy on the left side that's going to be able to sort of get out on the touchline and stretch him out. Going back, though, to Kayeke and Kappas, let me give you a couple of numbers to just lend some support to what you're saying. Kayeke, I think one of his best games tonight, 72 touches. You said he didn't lose the ball a lot. He was actually 49 of 55 on his passing. That's very good in the midfield. I mentioned during the broadcast a couple of times where I thought he just sort of added a little something I haven't seen a lot from him, where in possession, he just decides, if I can't make a pass right now, I'm just going to – he's not a big guy, but I'm just going to be strong, put my foot down, get between the defender, let him bounce off of me, and then I'll go do something else. So, and I thought that was real composure from him to sort of add that tool to his bag. 7 defensive contributions, 4 recoveries. He's 5 of 9 on his duels, so – really good game all the way around for Kayeke. And then Kappa, 69 touches, 4 defensive contributions. He had 7 recoveries, 7 of 11 on his duels. He was so good in the first half. When the LA Galaxy went to the 4-3-3 in the second half, Kayeke and Kappas got outnumbered. They lost control of the midfield for a little while. Dallas sort of eventually changes their own shape, and they get it back. But I agree with you, Ryan. Those 2 guys really, really good tonight. And, again, it's just good performances all around. I think Herman Johansson, to me, is showing what he is, and he's not going to be a difference maker, but he's really solid over there. I think he does the defensive job. He doesn't lose the ball a lot. He just makes safe choices. He's just a good, safe player, but I think that's fine. He's sort of a stabilizer arm over there.
Yeah, I don't love that somehow he seems to always get on the wrong side of the referee. I don't know if it's just a thing where he's like
a big guy.
He looks strange because he's so big and playing on the outside, but it's every time he lays a finger on an opposition player, they go down and it's a foul against him, and he gets a yellow card tonight for kicking the ball away in frustration. And I'm frustrated for him because he can't play his game, and the referees – we saw this with Musa when he first came to the league.
Yeah.
He was picking up yellow cards every week for these type of, got his hand up a little bit too high, a little bit late. But really, he's not doing much wrong. And it feels like they just police these bigger guys more harshly, and he's trying to adjust to that, but it can't be easy when it feels like, compared to the contact he receives, he can't dish anything out. That's just got to put you in a bad spot as a player, so I sympathize with him in that regard.
I want to close the loop on Ryan's idea and kind of use that to further another discussion. I think Ryan actually has a valid point if Eric Quill's intent is, I want to get the players that I trust on the field, because if you look at like what he set up, that would mean you'd be playing Shaq Moore and Nolan Norris and Osaze and probably Sebastian Biaga, I would guess, would be first in line there. It would open you up to play Ramiro, Kappas, Kaike, your best, what you believe to be your best three midfielders. Musa Valiente, who, as Ryan noted during the broadcast, played off the wing at times when he was at his previous stop. The left side you kind of have to figure out. But that's one player out of 10, and I'm curious if that would be how Quill sees it, or if he sees it more as, I want to view the system and then find the players for it. That's kind of a more meta discussion. But one thing I'm curious about, regardless of how they line up or even who they put out there, we have the benefit of being up high, and we're right by the Dallas bench above it. I'm watching Quill a lot, specifically in the second half. And one of the things specifically in that second half that he did a lot, he was telling guys, go forward, go forward, go forward. And there was a lot of times where he would be visibly frustrated when they passed backwards and they didn't, it looked like to his mind, get forward enough and try to, as he said before, fail advanced or whatever, fail progressively. Fail aggressively. Thank you. I couldn't find the word. And so I'm curious, do we think that that's still an aspect that Dallas needs to learn? Because I think it's something that Quill clearly wants by the way he's instructing the team from the touchline. And we see tonight where they don't have as many shots as we would probably like. I think of all the things that the team is still growing into, one of the things that I think the coach would say if you got him in his moment was, I'd like them to be a little bit more aggressive, and even if they fail a little bit more aggressively, that's fine, but I want more aggression from this team even still.
I think he transmitted that idea to them not only with yelling and demonstrating from the touchline, but with his changes tonight. I think everybody on the field knew that they felt like a point wasn't enough, particularly coming off the St. Louis game. And ultimately the chances fell to Musa, who you want them to fall to. They were kind of half chances in stoppage time, but I think that the players felt the urgency, and they did play forward, particularly towards the end of the game. They had the Galaxy completely penned. There was a just launching the ball, hopelessly clearing it, and immediately the pressure comes back their way. I think they were doing well towards the end of the game to build that pressure, and ultimately credit to the Galaxy, who were very tired tonight coming off short rest. They held the levy, and they managed to get it over the line with a point. I'm not too concerned about the team mentality in terms of settling for a point or not being aggressive enough, because I think not only the changes that Quill made, but also what we saw from the guys that were out on the field towards the end of the game. I mean, they were building the pressure. I think if you play 5 or 10 more minutes, you're going to probably create the chance to win the game, but ultimately the whistle came at 2-2.
I will say this, though. To play aggressively, to fail aggressively, however you want to characterize that, what would help a little bit, and I think they're getting there, and they will get there, is a little bit more predictability in the attacking third, a little bit more pattern play. But the issue is, they've under Quill, they haven't really settled on one good, solid attacking formation. The LA Galaxy, bless their hearts, haven't done very well, but we know what they're going to do. We know it's going to be Peck right, Pencil left, center forward. And they've changed it a little bit as, sometimes Marco Royce, like he does, he comes in and drops back, but that works for them as well. Whereas Dallas, sometimes it's been one lone striker, 2 10s behind him. Sometimes it's 2 strikers, they don't really have a 10 behind them. Sometimes there is a 10 behind them, but they haven't really found the right combination of wing backs yet. And so all of that lends to just a little bit of instability as you get a little further up the field. And, if you're going to fail aggressively, where you're usually failing is, I'm going to make a quick pass out to the right because I know somebody's there. Mm-hmm. Or in this situation, I know, I'm going to combine here. So, you do need a little bit more structure in the attacking third, and then you can be a little bit more aggressive. Or, this guy, when he gets the ball out here on the right side, I know he likes to hit a cross into the far post. So everybody's going there. A little bit like we see with Logan Farrington when he reaches that point over there on the left side, corner of the penalty area. We've seen him score or pass into Musa twice for goals in that position. They need a few more of those where when we do this thing, we know the next thing already. And that's where you get really aggressive.
Yeah, there's a concept in it. I can't believe I'm going to reference a TED Talk on the FC Dallas postgame show, but here we are.
Go ahead.
What are we doing if not TED Talking at 10 p.m.?
A little bit, yeah. We're TED Talking soccer, but it's called The Freedom of Structure, and the guy that's hosting it says, once you do everything you have to do, you can do anything you want to do. And that's basically the concept of it here. I think that's kind of what Steve is saying ultimately, because once Dallas figures out, okay, these are the things we need to do on offense, that opens up your whole world because that gives you freedom to work within that structure, freedom to do anything inside that area. And I think it's a good point because obviously we know the offense is centered around Petar Musa. Like we know that much. He's the lead dog on this cart. But how they get it there to him, like I just don't think there's a real, like if I told you map out the traditional Petar Musa goal, I just don't think there is one right now. And, that will only get you so far. I think that, him being so good, that will take you to a distance. But I'd really like to see, hey, how do we get to that goal? How do we get to more Logan Farrington goals? How do we get to a Santi Moreno or Joaquin Valiente? Whatever the goal-scoring intent is, what are those repeatable patterns that then once we get those down, we can modify? And I think we're just seeing in the middle of a team still learning how to do those things, and these are the growing pains of such tonight.
Yeah, but I'm really encouraged by Santi Moreno. I know we already kind of touched on him, but I mean, his creativity coming in this game within a couple of different structures. He came into the usual formation for 10-15 minutes, and they changed it up, and he's playing as kind of a midfield 4. And no matter when, what space, whether it was left, he came over to the right a little bit. He was just so dangerous. He split double teams on the dribble. He dropped a couple of really nice balls in behind. So I think, yes, all of what y'all just outlined is very true. But also just adding more quality and getting your best players on the field is going to help, and it's going to go a long way. As we've seen with Musa, even when the structure has been in flux throughout his entire FC Dallas career, his quality shines through. And I think Moreno, I don't know if he can be a Musa-level player, but he can be a difference maker, and he's shown us enough off the bench for me to really believe that he can do that. I think he's probably in line for a start, whether it's Wednesday or Saturday, coming up here soon, and I'm excited to see what that looks like and what position and how he can combine off of Musa, because the early returns are looking really promising.
And speaking, by the way, of Musa power, should mention also that unless something happens late here, he's going to finish the week as a Major League Soccer.
I love that you and I went to the exact same place.
Leading scorer now, 9 goals, already halfway to the FC Dallas single-season goals record, and we are only 8 games into a 34-game season.
And, to follow up on Ryan's point, because I think it's very important, I think there's a real chance that, we've seen how the management talks about the squad, that when we get to the World Cup break, as the international transfer window opens again, that could be the thing, because Dallas is currently playing, with one, kind of like 1.5 designated player, because you've got kind of a flexible in Santi Moreno who's occupying the spot, but could be bought down, kind of on that Paul Arriola deal when he was here. Imagine if you get, let's say Santi Moreno really, gels into form like we think he will, and then you're able to, bring him down to a TAM player, and you go get another really good player. Like the potential of this team is incredibly exciting, even if on nights like tonight the results can be a little bit frustrating. And I think that's where fans are probably of two minds right now. It could be good, but man, sometimes it's.
I think that probably outlines how a lot of people are feeling. But here's the one problem with that, and I think they have the ability, and I hope that they do add quality when we get to the summer window. But these home games are important.
Yes,
I mean, going on the road in the back half of the season, it's going to be a whole different beast. And right now, with the way the West is shaping up, it is an absolute murderer's row of a top 6. And right now, Dallas is on the outside looking in. I think they have the potential to get into that top 6, maybe even push for the top 4. But the way that Vancouver, LAFC, even San Jose, Seattle currently 3-0 up as we're speaking, Real Salt Lake kind of coming out of nowhere this season. I mean, the teams ahead of them are just putting up a ridiculous pace to start the year. Seattle's conceded 2 goals.
Did you mention San Jose? And
San Jose's conceded 2 goals. LAFC have conceded 2 goals. I mean, we're talking about 7 and 8 games where they've mostly kept clean sheets, and they've been it's just this Western Conference looks so strong. And the next 2 games are against teams that are right around you in the standings.
Yep.
Minnesota currently 1 point ahead. That can be a big one to climb up the ranks. And then Seattle away, and all of that daunting task. We'll get to that when it comes. But I think this next game is huge. I think it really is, coming off of 2 home draws. against a team that is right ahead of you in the standings. No matter what, if you win that game, you're moving up at least into the top 6, maybe even the top 5. And as I started off this comment with, these home games are so important.
Well, not to mention on the backside of that home game you just said, coming up midweek, is that trip to Seattle that you mentioned. Seattle up right now 3-0 on the team that Dallas couldn't beat at home last week. And, we know about Dallas's record up in Seattle. So, hope they can turn that around. But, you can't really count on that. You're right. All to say, this midweek game against Minnesota, huge.
By the way, Ryan's point, I'm looking at the YouTube chat here, was also mirrored by our good friend John Arnold, who was in our chat saying that the home-road split, especially this year, is really important. So if you can get those two soccer minds aligned, Ryan and John, that's a valid point you make. And also, I do want to say congratulations to John, who was named the national soccer writer for USA Today this week. So a very good shout for a veteran of the FC Dallas Radio Network. Our hats off to him. I'm sure his fantastic work will continue over there with USA Today. I appreciate him checking in on the Burncast with us. Never forgetting his roots, even though I don't think he actually technically ever appeared on the Burncast, but did many a game with us, did John Arnold. So good to see him succeeding. Well, we do have a midweek. It's going to be a 3-point Wednesday here at Toyota Stadium. $1 hot dogs, $3 brewskis, and it's going to be Minnesota United. The Loons will fly down here and make their first appearance, and hopefully only appearance at Toyota Stadium this year. That means they would probably be during the playoffs, and no one really wants that. They have already played. They have already picked up 3 points tonight.
Hold on.
What?
I would certainly take a home playoff game against Minnesota. I have good memories of that. It's worked well in the past.
Yeah, I want to keep those memories. I don't want to ruin them.
No. Give me a home playoff game and we'll.
You want
I'll
LAFC?
Be happy. Yeah, I was going to say, I think you could do a lot worse. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, okay, fair point. I don't really want LAFC. God, I really don't want a lot of the West. Maybe I do want Minnesota. 2-0 at home. They were at Allianz Field. They beat Portland.
They've won 3 in a row now. So
yeah,
they're rounding into form.
Cam Knowles has started to figure out what he's doing up there, and hey, there's another big name coming to town. Maybe, assuming he's not.
We can't even begin to promise that.
I'm not promising. I'm saying hopefully, James Rodriguez does not fall down a well or stub his toe walking into the stadium, or what was it that he had with the Colombian national team?
Well, he's had severe dehydration.
Ooh, that's no fun at all. Like there's a lot of things very Simpsons Homer at the bat things that could befall James Rodriguez before. But hopefully he makes it down here because that's a really, really great player, especially in the World Cup.
He did come in today, so he's back healthy.
Okay,
now.
Very good. Hopefully he comes in, we get to see him, but he's not very effective. That would probably be the best option for us here in Dallas. But regardless of he plays or whoever plays, it'll be Loons versus Burn on Wednesday night. It's a 7:30 kick from Toyota Stadium, so we will have pregame on the FC Dallas Radio Network starting at 7 o'clock. But that's going to do it for tonight's FC Dallas postgame show. FC Dallas and LA Galaxy goes honors even 2-2 here at Toyota Stadium. For Ryan Figert, for Steve Davis, I have been Sam Hale. You've been listening to FC Dallas Soccer, presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
The preceding broadcast has been a presentation of the FC Dallas Radio Network.
You push your body hard in the name of fitness. Sure, it's for a good cause. But a good cause shouldn't mean sacrificing a good time. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Want to hear something incredible? That's Eleanor. Just 10 hours after being born, Eleanor was airlifted to Children's Health